All right, it's now 3 o'clock. What's up, Chad here? Trailblazers kick off their playoff run Sunday. They'll meet the Spurs in San Antonio. Game one scheduled to tip off at 6 o'clock. Blazers game day at 4 with Chris Brown. Here's Coach Splitter on the Spurs.
Wembanyama is a big emphasis for us.
Coach Splitter on the Spurs.
Wembanyama is a big emphasis for us, offensively and defensively. How we're going to guard him, how we're going to attack him. Those things I think are important because he brings something different than other teams don't have, and so we got to be ready for that.
Our Trailblazer insider Sean Highkin will join the show coming up today at 4:20. We have two playing games tonight. In the Eastern Conference at 4:30 on Prime Video. Hornets are in Orlando to meet the Magic. Right now, Charlotte a 3.5. Warriors are in Phoenix to meet the Suns. Right now, Phoenix a 2.5-point favorite. Winner will face Warriors are in Phoenix to meet the Suns. Right now, Phoenix a 2.5-point favorite. Winner will face OKC round one in the West. Rested after the mad dash to the end of the regular season, and then we had the playing game on Tuesday night. Rested after the mad dash to the end of the regular season, and then we had the playing game on Tuesday night. Thank God the Blazers won that game. It's allowed for some rest and recuperation before the playoff series gets underway. So I'm looking forward to it. And what's going on, man? The playoffs kick off tomorrow. We have the two playing games, which will end the play-in tonight. The 4:30 tip on Prime. Hornets and Magic from Orlando. Right now, Charlotte favored by 3.5. Pretty crazy to the young team in Charlotte, favored by 3.5 on the road. But Orlando has not been playing well, especially on offense. So should be interesting to see how that one plays out. And what about the Warriors and Suns tonight? Will it be the Steph Curry show once again? Will the Suns be able to solve some of their issues on both ends and advance to meet Oklahoma City? So those two games are tonight. And then the cool thing is, the rest of the NBA playoffs, the full launch is tomorrow with not one, not two, but how about 4 games, all first round, and they're going to be on a variety of different networks throughout the course of the weekend. The first 3 games tomorrow, all on Prime Video. You remember the NBA because of the new TV deal. There's no local television broadcast. That's why you got to listen to the Blazers on Rip City Radio 620 to get local coverage, which is awesome. Tomorrow morning at 10, the Raptors are in Cleveland to take on the Cavs. Right now, Cleveland an 8.5-point favorite in Game 1. 12:30 on Prime. Timberwolves at the Nuggets. Right now, Denver favored by 6.5 in game one. Love that matchup. At 3 o'clock on Prime, the Hawks are at Madison Square Garden to take on the Knicks. And Atlanta this year, they got 46 wins. Very impressive young team. I like their coach, Quinn Snyder. I like the way they're playing. I think that's an underrated, very good matchup in the first round. And for the Knicks, 53 wins on the year. I think it's a bit of a disappointment for New York. They were considered the favorite after last year to come out and really take over the Eastern Conference with the injury to Jason Tatum and Boston, presumably at the time, not being a factor. And the Knicks came out and had a good season, but they underperformed. And now you've got Boston that looks like a title favorite. And Jason Tatum made his return much sooner than what people thought after getting injured last year in the postseason. And now the Knicks are not even favored to come out of the East. So I like the Hawks and Knicks, good matchup. And then a team that I love to hate on, the Lakers. At 5:30 on ABC, Rockets and Lakers, game one from Los Angeles. And right now, Houston is a 5.5-point favorite. So you got a situation there where the Rockets may have gotten a gift because the Lakers right now are banged up. And there's no real word on when Reeves and Luka are going to make a return, although it could be this series. But it's important for Houston to take care of business early in L.A. Get up big before you go back home, before the Lakers get reinforcements. And I like it, too, because the Lakers have built-in excuses now. So when LeBron gets run from the first round again, he will have the built-in excuse of injuries. And I like that. I like it when LeBron whines. I like it when LeBron makes excuses. I like it when he basically does what he normally does, points the finger elsewhere. So the first round is going to kick off tomorrow. The Blazers, of course, won't be in action until Sunday night. Their series with San Antonio will launch at 6 o'clock on Sunday. And right now the Spurs are favored by 11. And the games that we're going to get on Sunday, Sixers, Celtics, 10 o'clock on ABC on Sunday morning, followed by a 12:30 tip on ABC, Suns and Warriors, one of those two at Oklahoma City. At 3:30 on Peacock and NBC, Magic or Hornets at the Pistons. And then on NBC and Peacock, Trailblazers and Spurs. And as I mentioned, San Antonio is an 11-point favorite. But a couple of things I want you to hear here. In regard to game number one coming up. We're going to hear from a couple of different people throughout the course of the show today. But Denny Avdia had a chance to talk about this matchup with the Spurs. And I'm a big fan of Denny. I love his attitude, his approach, and the way that he plays. 41 points, 12 assists in that playing victory over the Suns. He's tough. He embraces physical contact. He's developed into a big-time leader on this team. He has taken over the point guard roles. He's the primary facilitator. That's not an easy job. He's just become so much more than what the Blazers thought they were getting when they made the deal with the Wizards. He's awesome. And oh, by the way, he's an all-star. But he talked about this challenge of facing the Spurs.
It's a nice challenge, especially for a lot of guys' first playoff series. We're young, they're not experienced, we're not so much experienced. I think it's a big challenge. I think it's fun. I think it's part of the game, and we'll try and make the best out of it.
Yeah, no question about it. And that's one thing I do like about this series compared to the Oklahoma City matchup. The Blazers had one of two teams they were going to face coming out of the play-in, either Oklahoma City or San Antonio. Even with Wemby, I would choose the Spurs over the Thunder on the simple basis that San Antonio has no playoff experience. In fact, the Blazers, based on their roster makeup, they got more playoff experience than San Antonio. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, just made a title run last year, and they're tough. But I like the Blazers' chances better against the Spurs than I would against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But the big issue, of course, is Victor Wembanyama. He is a freak of nature. 7'4", 7'5", can handle the rock like a guard. He can shoot from distance. An incredible defender and shot blocker. He is a unicorn. And Denny talked about preparing for a player like him.
I mean, you watch film, you watch him see his weaknesses, and just be aggressive. I know there's not a lot to overthink. It's only basketball. I think, our instincts are pretty good as a team, and individually, I think my instincts are pretty good. It's a challenge. It's not easy, but I think we're ready, as I said. I think we're in a good mental state.
Yeah, there's no question they're in a good mental state, and they should be. They're playing good basketball. They're healthy for the first time all year. They're playing with house money. Yeah, it's a good time to be a Trailblazer. Now, my biggest question mark going into the series is How are they going to get Denny at the rim to continue to do what he does with Victor Wembanyama looming, hanging around the painted area, being a great rim protector, blocking shots, being a problem? I would not be surprised if the Trailblazers go small. And Michael Holton talked about this yesterday with Holton on Hoops, right? I would not be surprised if the Blazers go small and put maybe Tamani Kamara or a combination of him and Drew Holiday on Victor. Anything and everything to get Wemby away from the basket when he's playing defense so that Avdia will have some creases, some room to work with. That's going to be critical. And I wonder, as great as Rob Will has been throughout the course of the season, how effective can he be in this series against the Spurs because of Wembanyama? And if you got Rob Will on the floor at the same time of Wemby, Williams, not the three-point shooter that Donovan Clingan even is. I just don't know. I think the Blazers may go small for large periods of time throughout the series to try and open up the floor for Denny Avdia. But Avdia also had a chance to talk about the two centers who have been terrific all year. Rob Williams, Donovan Clingan, their importance, their double-doubles, their rebounding, the offensive glass, everything.
Both of them are really great defensive guys. Improved a lot. DC improved a lot offensively. Rob has been great offensively. As I said, I don't really want to overthink that. I think we're capable. We have the weapons, defensively, offensively. It's just go out there and compete. That's about it.
Yeah, no question. One other thing from Denny, just on the team's health, this is probably one of the things I'm most excited about. I've wondered all year what this team might be if they were healthy. Had they been healthy, they're a 50-win team if they remained healthy throughout the course of the season. But better to be healthy now than to not, and to have access to everyone. And the roster's deep. They're unique with the guys that they have. And here's Denny talking about the health.
I think it's big time. A lot of our main players have been out, and I feel like having them back is really big for our team, especially especially against a team like San Antonio. It's a big time for us. We're just glad to have everybody back. Can't wait for Dame to come back, but just in general, I think we're in a good mental state. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's ready to play, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So I like where everyone's at. I think Denny's in a good spot. I think the team overall is in a good space right now because they're playing good basketball. And I think the team is playing really hard. And that's one thing that we can give credit to for Tiago Splitter. He's got these guys to play hard and engage. Hey, Michael Shacker, are we okay over there? We got a Friday leading into the playoffs. The studio's not haunted because it sure sounds like it might be haunted right now.
The voice guy wanted to make sure that you know that you're live.
That's good.
Thank you, Pete.
All right. Everything was going just fine until that little spook right there. But we're good, I think. All right. Coming up on the show, Sean Hike and Trailblazer Insider. He was out at the facility today. He'll join me at 4:20. Brian No, Fox Sports Radio, going to talk some B-ball with us coming up at 5:20. B-No! And up next, Beef Water from 105.9 The Brew. My man Casey Bay is going to come in and update us on his walk for autism acceptance. He's got some good things going on, and the dollars are coming in. And also, my man Colin Amos from Goldberg Jones stepping up, putting his money where his mouth is, which is pretty awesome. So we'll talk with Casey coming up next, Sean Hiking at 4:20, and then B-No, Brian No, Fox Sports Radio at 5:20. And, of course, I want to hear from you. And we're going into a playoff weekend where the Blazers are going to be live on Sunday night, 503-248-0620. Your only place for local coverage during the playoffs of your Trailblazers is right here on Rip City Radio 620. My man Casey Bay from 105.9 The Brew in studio to talk about Rock the Walk for Autism. My man Casey Bay from 105.9 The Brew in studio to talk about Rock the Walk for Autism Acceptance. My brother, good to see you.
What's up? Good to see you again, man.
Well, you know it's big in Portland with the Blazers when it's spilling over into the rock station, man. Rock listeners, sports fans, everyone's geeked up for the Blazers right now.
I had more ticket requests for Blazers tickets for this weekend than, Friday my phone was just continually chinging of going like, hey, by any chance, might you have any Blazers tickets?
Yeah, exactly.
And that answer would be no, everybody listening right now.
It's so amazing. People who pretend to be my friends only hit me up during big moments like this with the playoffs, which is kind of funny to me.
It annoys the crap out of me. I don't know about you, but man, it's like, listen, don't not talk to me for 6 months and then hit me up when you need a ticket.
Yeah. And no offer of like a courtesy reach around or anything like that.
No.
Like, nothing for me?
Nothing.
Come on, man. These are big time tickets.
It's the way it goes, man.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I thought about you yesterday because you guys are fortunate. You're in the mornings in the Brew Studio, so you don't deal with a lot of the excessive construction that's going on right now as they remodel the building.
Well, I got to tell you, they're creeping in.
Oh, they are.
They fired up at 7:30 the other morning, and we all looked at each other like, we're shutting it down.
Dude, I'm on edge, man. It's really starting to irritate me. And yesterday I came in, everything's covered in plastic.
Yeah.
Like everything, like all my stuff. And I literally had to like peel it all back and piece everything together. Cameras are knocked over. And so it took about 2 minutes and my blood pressure is boiling. And this guy's in here with a bucket of paint and the fumes are strong. And he's like painting the wall and he's like, hi. I'm like, what's going on? He said, is this going to be a problem? I said, well, I have a live show from 3 to 6. So yeah.
Yeah, it could be a little problematic.
Yeah. And the best part is the foreman guy, whoever's in charge, he came down. His name's Joel, nice guy. Yeah. I didn't even, express any frustration to anyone. He just said, hey, I'm sorry about my guy being in the studio. I didn't realize you had a live show. My bad. And I was like, no problem. So Joel made me feel better about the situation.
Joel's a good dude. He greets me and on my way in and out of here every day as I go out the door.
Yeah.
Like he's like the new mascot of the office.
He's like a happy guy. And the best part is when our boss is like, Chad, is everything okay? I'm like, no, it's not, because I come into my workplace, there's plastic everywhere. I got a guy with a bucket of paint and the fumes are giving me a headache.
It couldn't be more displaced at this point. Like right now, it just feels like a war zone. It is so, and I'm trying to be easy about it, right? Because I get it. It's part of the process. But nevertheless, at this point, I've had my fill of the construction.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm ready. But I'm excited about the Autism Walk. And it was cool because Casey and I both share something in common. His son and my son both have autism. And I called him up out of the blue the other day. I said, dude, you're not going to believe this, but Isaac's got a job. And so I explained to him how Isaac was at home. I came home from work. And I said, what have you been doing? He's like, I just got finished work. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You got a job? And that's when he told me, and he hadn't told me or mom or anybody, he had been doing Uber Eats for an entire week on his bike.
Absolutely amazing. On his bike, no less.
Yes. And he's into it so much that I offered up an e-bike. I was like, dude, let's get you an e-bike. I said, I'm willing to invest in an e-bike for you if you really want to do this. He's like, no, I'm good. I love my bike.
Yeah.
He didn't want the e-bike.
He's like, listen, I'm going for Quadzilla right now. I'm just gonna have legs like tree trunks.
But see, you can understand where I'm coming from on this. Like, I for the longest time now, and he's had a job coach from the state that comes in to work with him. And I've been beating my brain for years, and we all have, the entire family. And it never occurred to me like Uber Eats, like that would be a good option or that would be a great job. But it's actually the perfect job, because my biggest concern was, how's he going to go to a company and be able to sit and focus for 8 hours to do a task? It's not possible for him because he gets easily distracted. And yet the great thing about like Uber Eats for Isaac, he can work as much as he wants. And lately he's been working a lot. There's no boss. He's just got to make sure he gets the food to where it needs to be on time. And he's able to roam around and do what he loves, which is travel around on his bike or by vehicle and be able to communicate with some people. Like it's got all the elements of the things that he likes. And what he really appreciates is how that money gets automatically dropped right into his e-wallet, as he was telling me.
Is that every day or every week, or how does that shake out?
I think it gets deposited in every day.
What a deal. So so he's got motivation every day. The more I get out and pedal, the more cash I'm going to have by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's got his driver's license, but he refuses to take a Bon Voyage trip by himself. He won't do it in anyone's car. And I've offered up, said, someone drive down to the store. Just go right down the hill and come back. And he's like, no. He's saving himself for his own car. And so now with the e-wallet, as he works, he just sees that balance going up and he's saving money to buy a vehicle.
That's amazing. I just love that he went out on his own, found a solution for what his needs were.
Yeah.
And he went out and did his own thing. Like that is, you had to have been over the moon.
I still am. Like, it's one of those few moments where, like, as a dad, I was like literally astonished. I was so proud. I didn't even know what to do. And the best part is, like, like setting up something like that on the app and going through the process.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And yet he did it all by himself.
Well, it just, to me, that tells me he was determined to make that happen.
Yeah.
And don't squelch that passion. Like, let it go.
Just let it go.
And hopefully it continues on for an extended period of time and he doesn't burn out in 3 or 4 weeks or whatever.
That's what I'm afraid of, because when he does something, he goes all in, right? Which is great, but you can wear yourself out too quick.
But again, money is money. If you're motivated by money and you go, hey, man, I kind of like that stuff coming in, you got a reason to get up and go do it.
And I think you and I were talking about this the other day for our sons, and people out there with kids who are on the spectrum understand this. You mentioned this to me, that we just want our kids to be able to experience some of the qualities of life that you and I experience, like being somewhat independent, getting the feeling of a job well done, getting money for work done. Like, there's good things that come from that, right? And so he's getting a chance to experience some of that.
I mean, they still know they want to be a productive member of society.
Yeah.
They're aware of how the world works and all of that. So, like, to think that that's not a thing for them, they know that they want to make money and do their own thing and have a job and all that. And I think I didn't realize that Isaac had a job coach. I'm super interested in figuring out what that looks like on my thing, because that's where I'm at. He's 20, he'll be 21 in the fall, and it's time to start looking at what's out there.
Do you have him set up on Social Security yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's all good on that front.
Then you have access to it.
And he will wrap up his life skills program at 21. And then this is what will be. So there should be some easing into the job shadowing and then into job placement. But he doesn't have a job coach per se. He still has just a one-on-one.
Well, one thing you'll find as you continue to dig, and I would imagine your wife's probably good at this too, you'll find out, like, there's many more resources than just the stipend and cash, right?
Right.
Like, one thing Isaac uses now that he loves is he gets free trips on C-Tran. So, like, the bus. And he can call up. He knows how to do it now. He'll call up and book a ride, and they come and pick him up.
Oh, on the C-Van situation.
Yes.
So coming right to the house.
They come right to the house.
Fantastic.
They pick him up right in front. He knows how to schedule the trips. Sometimes he'll want to go to the mall or wherever he wants to go, and they come and pick him up and drop him off. Sometimes he wants to go shopping at Safeway. The van will pick him up. He'll go shopping, and they take him back home. And he doesn't have to pay for it. Isn't that genius?
It's amazing. And I love that not only does he know it's available to him, but he's got it figured out where he can utilize it.
Yeah, he thinks that that's a genius program.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool that he's been able to utilize those resources.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like the growth from last year to this year, he's really coming into his own little set of circumstances.
Yes, and the best part about having a job and a purpose is that he has less free time now. So the good thing is, like I told you, he loves to hang out at coffee shops, but that becomes a problem for the establishment because when he hangs out there for too long, he irritates the patrons. Well, now the good thing is because he's busy working, now if he wants to go on a Saturday to go hang out for a few hours at a coffee shop, that's just one day for a few hours.
Yeah.
So it solves a lot of the free time issue.
I just find it to be absolutely incredible that he went out and did that.
I know.
And it's working out for him in a way that he's excited about it.
Yeah, because when he first told me, I was like, no, come on, man.
Yeah.
You pulling my leg? It's like, no. And then he opened up his app and showed me what he's been doing and told me about the different trips and the different type of food that people order and the whole shebang, right? He said pizza is a very popular option. That's what he told me.
How do you deliver a pizza on a bike?
Because we got him a delivery bag, right?
Okay.
That keeps the cold things cold and the hot things hot.
Yeah.
And it straps onto the bike. So he puts it in there and then he zips it down and then takes off. Isn't that amazing?
I love it, man. I love it.
He's
That's
totally
great.
down. All right, so your walk, this is getting really good. The Rock the Walk for Autism Acceptance coming up on the 24th, so we're getting close. But why don't you tell us about some of the people, including Colin Amos from Goldberg Jones, our good friend. You've got people stepping up, and the donations are rising.
Yeah, we've done pretty good. As you said, Colin, he told me early on, he's like, "Hey man, make sure you send me that stuff." He goes, "I want to help," and I go, "That's great." And I feel kind of like I don't want to be hitting people up right and left. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Hey, if you want to do it, great." And also like running through your business, like take the tax credit or whatever. I don't want it to come out of your pocket necessarily, but if your company wants to do something, cool. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Just, send me the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then, man, he immediately fires up with $1,000 donation.
That's awesome.
Just an absolute hero, right?
And that's the Colin I know. He's very unselfish, and he really cares about people, which is cool.
I also recently found out that he has family members on the spectrum.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
I had no idea either. And he goes, "Hey, listen, man, this is meaningful to me. I can relate here, so let me help where I can." And then Car Toys, they stepped up with $1,000. Jamba coming in with $1,000, and I've even had an anonymous donation of $1,000. It's really been very heartwarming.
Gosh, that's awesome.
So we are cooking right around $7,000 right now. We've got an $8,000 goal from Autism Society Oregon. I think we're going to probably make that happen.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want to get over my skis here, but it feels like it'll happen. And so where we were this morning is where I was halfway through the walk last year.
That's great.
So we're ahead.
Yeah, that's great. And the walk, and you still got a week until the walk.
Right.
All right. Now you've got some TV appearances coming up next week?
Yeah, I'm going to be on Fox 12 now in the afternoon with Greg Nibbler. So I think that's going to be at 2:30 on Monday. And then Wednesday, we're going to record one to play back Thursday on Coin 6 News in the morning. So that's awesome. And I'm just going to keep chipping and see who else will let my ugly face in to sell this thing.
That's so great. I love seeing the corporate partners jump on board too.
Yeah. It's where I hope it goes, that we can continue to reach out to, people that run businesses that are, have a dog in the fight, if you will.
And this walk this year, last year you walked from here, the station at I-5 and 217 here in Tigard, all the way down to Moda Center. But I believe you told me that you're going out to St. John's Bridge, Cathedral Park.
We are. So it's going to be like 17 and some change.
You'll be walking your ass off.
Yeah, I've been hitting the treadmill and just trying to get my legs and muscle memory in it. You know? But I think it'll be okay. We're going beyond the morning show this year, so I figure like once the show's over, I'll be able to make up some time because I won't be getting called every 10 minutes with an update and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm confident. I think my personal goal is to get there by 1 p.m.
And is Court walking with you this
Court's
year?
walking with me. Our friend Steve from Jamba's walking. Mike, the manager of Tigard Car Toys, he's going to be walking.
Oh, nice.
And I think there's maybe a small handful of Jamba folks that are going to jump in the mix as well. And anybody who wants to join in along the way can do so. Anybody that wants to meet up at the end at Cathedral Park, you're welcome to do so. And I think we're going to have Shake Shack out there. They're working over the details to maybe set up a lemonade stand out there so we can, have a spot. We're going to be graced with good weather, it looks like, again. So that's awesome. And we're even got Oregon Humane out there. They're going to be bringing some dogs out on site so people can, look at some dogs that are up for adoption. And we all know a lot of kids on the spectrum love animals, and having a companion like a dog is a very good thing.
I wish that my son was one of those that liked animals.
My son loves cats, does not necessarily love the dogs.
Yeah.
And he makes it very well known.
And that's Isaac. He hates puppy shots. My little wiener dog hates him, but is partial to cats. Like he'll tolerate a cat, but a dog, I think he's just scared of it.
My son absolutely loves the cats. The dog they're just loud. He don't like all the barking. Yeah. And so they wore out their welcome with him, and he has no time for the dogs.
You're right. That's probably what it is. Noisemakers, anything that's too loud or obnoxious, it drives him crazy.
Yeah. But fully, like the cats are his jam.
That's amazing. And the other thing we were complaining about too, aside from the construction, iHeart's a pretty big communication company. I don't know why it's so hard to get something on the website where it could be easily detectable and findable by people who go there to want to donate. It's so dumb.
I guess they figure a universal template is plenty good. and that's what we got. So I'm trying to figure out how to manipulate that and get it into an easier location, and I think we'll find something.
Okay, good. So the best thing to do right now is go to 1059 The Brew, find the events page, and then you'll find the Walk for Autism Acceptance.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's I think it's technically listed as the calendar. So just go up, hit the calendar, and it'll be right there in the top row.
Okay, find the calendar at 1059 The Brew, and then this is all going to support the Autism Society of Oregon.
Yeah, and we had Toby from Autism Society Oregon on the show this morning. So she came in and kind of gave a little rundown about the services that they provide and where your donations last year went, and that was it's always nice to talk to her and get a little insight to what they do.
I keep running into your listeners at Spirit Mountain Casino.
Yeah,
It's all
not surprising.
have communicated to me the same thing. They love it when Tanner puts me on air, but doesn't tell me I'm on air.
Yeah.
And they hear my reaction because I get ticked off at them. Like, they love that. They think it's great.
Well, it is pretty fantastic. I will give you that. I enjoy it very much as well. And we love having you on the show, dude.
It's so much fun.
It's always great to have you.
I think he
stop
called
by.
me this morning, but of course he didn't give me any heads up that he was calling me. And so when I saw the missed call, I was like, that's probably freaking Tanner.
It's showbiz, baby. Sometimes it just comes up. Sometimes
It was so great. A couple of days ago, he had me on. He hit me up. He's like, hey, can you come on tomorrow morning? I said, yeah, I'm in. I'll try to make it in studio, but I got stuck in traffic. He did not tell me that he was also getting Travis Demers on, the voice of the Blazers, at the same time. So that made me happy because I got to talk to Trav and you guys all at the same time. That was cool.
He planned that surprise on purpose just because he wanted to just have you guys show up at the same time and go, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what's going on?
It's awesome. But that was great. It was great to have you both on there, and you guys get to do what you do, and that is talk amazing sports.
Well, all we ask of you is, and again, you know, I think you can relate to this, whether you have children or family members that are on the spectrum who are autistic, or you have friends, everyone pretty much knows someone that's on the spectrum. And whether you're donating $1 or $10 or $1,000, whatever the number is, it's irrelevant. Any type of support you can provide for autism acceptance, it means a lot to Casey and I. But this is something that means a lot to Casey because, you know, you started this just to bring awareness and acceptance to people who are on the spectrum. And look at what it's turned into.
It's makes me uncomfortable a little bit, you know, but I love that I mean, only from like, where do we go from here? Like, it certainly feels like it's something. So I want to keep building it, and I hope that it becomes a cornerstone, you know, event for us every year.
Yeah.
And I hope we continue to grow it. I hope businesses continue to jump on board, and I would love to throw 20 grand their way every year if we could do it, you know? I mean, and it feels realistic at this point.
How are you adjusting body-wise to doing morning radio? Something I'm very familiar with.
Boy, do you ever get used to it?
No. I never did.
And I haven't met one person that does it that says, oh, yeah, after 3 years, you're good to go. Everybody says it's just how it is.
Now, do you just grind through the rest of your day? The problem I had is that I always ended up taking a nap in the afternoon, and it felt great, but then it would disturb my sleep at night. So I never found that balance there.
Yeah, I rarely nap. A lot of times it's, I just have a lot of responsibility around here. But so I get up at 3:45. I leave my house at 4:30. I show up here about 5 a.m. And I try and leave here by 2 if I can. But sometimes there's things going on, and a lot of times I'm still here at 4 o'clock, 4:30, and they're just long days.
Yeah.
And then I spend my entire drive home longing for a nap and just thinking about how great that is.
Yeah.
But I have noticed I spend about the first 3 minutes of being conscious, negotiating with myself when I can like rest again.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. Like, I've never thought about sleep like I do now.
Yeah. All right, buddy. You're the best, man. This is great. So the walk is coming up in a week, April 24th, from here out to Cathedral Park in St. John's. Rock the Walk for Autism Acceptance. Go to 1059 The Brew, pull up the calendar page, and you'll find the Rock the Walk for Autism Acceptance. You can donate to the Autism Society of Oregon, and that's what we're trying to do.
Nice.
Bring awareness.
Great bed, Shacker.
Yeah, Shaka knows what you want. Our Trailblazer Insider from Rose Garden report coming up at 4:20. On Sean Hike and our Trailblazer Insider from Rose Garden report coming up at 4:20. And I think Michael saw you watched it, didn't you, Michael?
Yeah. It was awesome.
And I think Michael saw you watched it, didn't you, Michael?
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's terrific. But the people that created the documentary were trying to push a certain narrative. So they just left a lot of stuff out. And it's unfortunate because they interviewed Dwight and Kerry for an extended period of time. Jason Quick as well. You know, the guys who were around the team covering it when they were here. And they just wanted to, push a certain narrative, and that's what they did. But that's the power you have when you create a documentary. You can, push whatever narrative you want, whether it's true or not. Same thing with Last Dance. Phenomenal, right? But Michael Jordan was in control of that. So he's going to make sure the story is told in a certain way.
I felt like a greedy Blazer fan because I just wanted more. I thought maybe it could be a mini series. I thought there was enough there to keep it longer than 1 hour.
I agree. There was a lot there, a lot more. And they just chose not to share some of the details there.
I needed some Dwight James. Can Dwight James make his own special?
He should. He and Kerry together. That would be wild. All right. Spurs, Trailblazers coming up Sunday. Tip off at 6 from San Antonio at Frost Bank Center. The only local coverage will be on radio, Rip City Radio 620 with Travis Demers. Game day will start at 4 with Chris Burkhardt. A couple of things I want you to hear. Denny Avdia, confident, and for good reason, he should be. He's one of the best players in the NBA. And he's coming off a 41-point, 12-assist performance against the Suns in the playing game from a couple of nights ago. And, he thinks they're a dangerous team. I do as well. Healthy. We don't even know what this team is capable of because we haven't seen them healthy like this all year. Only one game, the Suns game. But versatility, size. They got some different guys who can really hurt you.
People didn't predict, especially around the league, know our capabilities and our talent very well. I think we're a dangerous team. I think we have the talent. Obviously we come as an underdog, but we're going to go out there and compete. And we're not backing up and we're not scared of anybody. So I really believe in the guys, and I think we're better than what we've shown this season.
Yeah, I agree. They are better. They're healthy. And they got versatility. Doc Rivers, not that I ever take anything he says seriously because he's Doc Rivers. So Glenn was on with Bill Simmons, and his podcast, if you're a basketball fan, is sensational. And I'll save this for the top of the hour. I want you to hear from Glenn. He shares his thoughts on the Blazers. He agrees, too, that they're dangerous. I think everyone sees it the same way. San Antonio is heavily favored, and for good reason. They won 62 games. But they have no playoff experience, and Portland is at their very best right now. All I've cared about over the last month is the Blazers getting into a position where they're playing their best basketball going in. And they are. And they're healthy. That gives them a puncher's chance, even against the Spurs. But I love the fact that the Spurs have no playoff experience. That could prove to be quite helpful. And my dream right now, I'm a simple man. Get the split in San Antonio and come back with the series tied up at 1 going into Game 3 Friday night at Moda Center. That would be awesome. All right, Sean Heiken's coming up at 4:20. We'll hear from good old Doc Rivers coming up next, and I'll share my thoughts on the reporting that's out on Tom Dundon cutting costs. I'll tell you what I know. You got the Rip City Drive. All right, it's 4 o'clock. What's up, Chad here? Trailblazers kick off their playoff run Sunday. They'll meet the Spurs in San Antonio. Game 1 scheduled to tip off at 6. And we'll have Blazers Game Day live at 4 with Chris Burkhardt. The Spurs are favored by 11 for Game 1, and they've got an MVP candidate in Victor Wembanyama. Coach says it's a team effort to defend Wemby.
Well, I think every game is a team effort. We talk about this, but yeah, always a team defense, stay connected on offense, share the ball, play together. It's a big, team effort on both ends of the court.
Our Trailblazer insider Sean Hyken will join us coming up at 4:20. At 4:30 on Prime Video, Hornets are in Orlando to meet the Magic. Charlotte favored by 3.5. The winner will face the Detroit Pistons round 1 in the Eastern Conference playoffs. 7 o'clock on Prime, Warriors are at the Suns. Phoenix, a 2.5-point favorite. Winner will face Oklahoma City in the West. Well, this is a great song. Jacob's Ladder, performed by Huey Lewis and the News. And I got a great trivia question for you that I know the answer to. Who wrote this song? You don't get any tickets or anything special. You just get bonus credit, a little extra credit. And the artist that wrote it actually put it out on one of his albums as well. And I will say that the Huey Lewis version is much better.
I have no clue. Is it Neil Diamond?
Not Neil Diamond. That's a pretty good guess. It was written by Bruce Hornsby and his brother. They wrote the song, and then it was presented to Huey Lewis. He's like, I can do something with that. And he took it to number 1. But Bruce Hornsby, I just saw, he was on Rick Beato's YouTube channel a couple of nights ago. And we talk about these different YouTube channels that are phenomenal. Rick Beato's page would be 1, and you got to check it out. He does music. I think my favorite thing that he does is what makes this song great. He just did a breakdown on Africa by Toto the other night. Phenomenal. But he had an interview, a sit-down, extended interview with Bruce Hornsby, talking about his career and some different songs and different work that he did. It was very good. Very enjoyable. Just one of my many YouTube webs that I got stuck in this week. Well, there's no cure for it. I can't get out of it. It is amazing what you can come across based on the algorithms and the videos that it recommends for you. But I'm subscribed to Beato's page. He's really good. And the business guy that I was telling you about, Michael Girdley, the guy's awesome. He just did a breakdown on, who was that chick that got busted for the basically a Ponzi scheme? I think the name of the company was Theranos. That was pretty phenomenal. So Michael Girdley does a good page. Rick Beato's page is really good. There's a lot of good options out there. It's amazing what we have access to now. And all the old games are putting up on YouTube. I went back and watched, after watching the Jailblazers doc, I went back and watched the Game 7, Blazers-Lakers, and watched the comeback. Watched the Blazers melt down in that fourth quarter. And then Kobe's lob to Shaq. Not one of the best memories here in the Portland area. I can tell you that much.
We all the TV feed.
I watched the TV.
The radio feed is disappeared from the archives.
It disappeared?
Yeah. Does anyone have a recording of that game? Please call the show. We need it for the archives.
Does Rich Patterson not have a recording? He probably wouldn't,
it
because
disappeared as time went by.
Is Brian Wheeler responsible for destroying it? Do we know who destroyed it? Who made it disappear?
I don't know if it got destroyed or just borrowed and not returned.
Interesting. Most people remember where they were at when that went down. I certainly do. Were you working that day, Shacker? Or is that before your radio time in Portland?
I was at my neighbor's house who was a Laker fan because I wanted to talk smack.
And you were talking smack up until about midway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I had to eat all my words. Not a good day.
It was not a good day. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Doc Rivers, like I said, we don't. This is what's funny to me about sports fans. Every Blazer fan I know hates Doc Rivers for a variety of reasons. Most of them are legitimate. He might be one of the most overrated coaches in the history of American sports. That's possible. And he's annoying. And he's got a very oily face, which is bizarre. But it's funny when someone you don't like says something positive about your team. All of a sudden, people latch on. They're like, oh, Doc Rivers says the Blazers are dangerous. So take it with a grain of salt. It's Doc, but he has no reason to lie here. But I do like what he says about the Blazers because he's correct. He's with Bill Simmons on his pod. And as I mentioned before, Bill Simmons, big basketball fan, but his pod is really funny. And I enjoy it. But here's Doc talking about the Blazers being dangerous.
And they're going to have three physical series. Portland is
Let's talk
big.
about Portland. Yeah, they're a little dangerous.
Portland is dangerous because Portland has size.
Yeah.
They have size, and they have real defenders. They can.
All right, I know what's going on there. I'm going to play a different version because I can hear Casey in the background. Here's Doc with Bill.
And they're going to have three physical series. Portland is
Let's talk
big.
about Portland. Yeah, they're a little dangerous.
Portland is dangerous because Portland has size.
Yeah.
They have size, and they have real defenders. Like, they can defend 1 through 5. So that series, San Antonio is going to win, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be an easy series. Where Portland will struggle is can they score enough?
Yeah, it's kind of Denny. Yeah, it's Denny or bust. You could feel that even in the playing game. He was awesome at 41, but
and I haven't even looked at those head to head. But my guess is what he does is drive to the basket. Well, that's what Wemby does too, defensively. He's going to have to get those same layups over Wemby.
Right.
So that's going to affect him a little bit.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys, he goes right every single time. And you're like, just play him so he doesn't go right. It's like, okay. And then he goes right again. It's like, what?
All right, there's Doc Rivers with Bill Simmons. I mean, he's right. The Blazers are dangerous. I fully believe that. Now, the big question I have matchup-wise, how do the Blazers get Denny to the rim to be able to do what he does best with Victor Wembanyama out there? That's why I wonder if they're going to go small. Go small. You can match up with a Tamani or Drew, a combination of guys on Wemby, but you've got to have someone on the floor to pull Wemby away from the basket because if he's around the rim, it's nearly impossible to get a shot up over him. It's like that game a couple of weeks ago in Denver, that Spurs-Nuggets game, which was electric. He blocked Jokic's shot like 5 times before Jokic is like, bleep that, and went with that ridiculous fadeaway over the top and got it to go down. It's going to be a problem. But I think what you do is go small. But then you have the issue about rebounding. And he's right about one thing. The Blazers don't shoot particularly well. The Blazers are going to have to make threes to win this series. You want to keep it simple, they're going to have to hit threes. If they're going to get a split in San Antonio, they're going to have a game where they shoot 40% from downtown. You just have to make shots. I know it sounds simple, but it's true. The Blazers are not a great shooting team. They rely on their offensive rebounding, but in those periods where you're going to go small to get Wemby away from the basket, how are you going to rebound as well? They're going to have to make threes. It's all the same, right? The combination for the Blazers to have success, it comes down to a few things. One, limiting turnovers. You cannot cough it up 25 times and give the Spurs 35 points off turnovers. You won't win. So limiting turnovers is critical. Valuing the possessions, and in the playoffs, it's a possession-based game, so that's critical. And they're going to have to rebound. Offensive rebounding is critical for the second chance points. They need those second chance points to have a chance to succeed. And making threes. They're going to have to shoot, in order to win the series, they're going to have to shoot above their season average. They're going to need to be, somewhere between 37 to 40%. That's asking a lot, but if you're going to take out San Antonio, who's won 62 games, it's going to require a freak-type effort. The good thing is, man, the Blazers are playing their asses off. They're playing hard for Coach Splitter. I love that. They're competing. They're defending. I love the way they've been playing defense over the last couple of weeks. Like, there's a lot of things that are just pumping me up right now about this team. and they're healthy. All right. Well, I want to lay this out for a bit, and then we'll talk about it with Heiken, and then I'll lay out some more. There's a lot of reports. Mostly this came initially from Chris Mannix, who is a terrific reporter, covers the NBA. He's great at covering the fights, too, but I love Mannix. But he put out the reports from Phoenix about Tom Dundon, the new owner of the Trailblazers, and the cost cutting. And I do know his reporting is correct because I heard the same thing from some Trailblazer staffers, where ever since Tom Dundon has taken control, he has gone about looking at the books, looking at the entire operation, and trying to find different areas where he can save money. And so I do know that some staffers, not players, but staffers, typically when they fly into an NBA city, they get to stay in their room past checkout time and then leave when the team bus heads over to the arena. And what happens is for these NBA teams that do that, it's so far past the checkout time that they end up paying for an extra night, even though no one's going to be staying in the room. They're going to check out when it's time to go to the arena, but the team's picking up the tab for that extra night. It's not like a $25 late checkout charge or whatever these hotels try to push over on you. I always hate that too. Sometimes when you go to a hotel and you're trying to get the 1 hour extra, because the 11 a.m. checkout's stupid when you're on vacation or traveling, I always like to get it up to noon or 1. And if I get the 2 hours, sometimes they'll hit me for like $25. It's dumb, but I'll do it because the time's more important to me. I don't want to check out at 11. Well, I can understand why Tom Dundon does not want to pay the extra night for staffers when they can check out and they can store their, belongings at the front desk or whatever. I get that. But I do know that happens. So that is true. I also heard that they were leaving certain cities early to fly sooner to the city where they were going to play next if that city was cheaper in terms of the cost. Like some cities, like my guess would be New York is probably more expensive than Atlanta, or Miami is more expensive than Charlotte, those type of things. So you leave early instead of staying an extra night in the city you were in, leave early to check in at your next city where you're going to play and spend the off day there so you can save a few bucks. And I have been told that through meetings, Tom Dundon, being very diligent the way he is, has just been going over everything because he's trying to learn the business, understand what money's going out, why it's going out, what the costs are. He's learning. He's on a fact-finding mission to try and figure everything out. And with that, if there's something he deems to be excessive or unnecessary, it's his team now. And if he wants to, find it's his team now. And if he wants to, find areas where he can save cost, it's probably the smart business thing to do. He's not going to make the players check out early and go sit in the lobby until game time. He's going to take care of the players, but if he can find ways to save in other areas, I think that's fine. My guess would be that these NBA teams, for the most part, have probably been spending wildly for so long that it's just the way they do business, and no one asks any questions, right? And Dundon comes in, and he's like, why are we doing this? Why not think about it like this? He's just trying to find a new way to do things. And anytime there's change, there's going to be people who are going to be upset about that. Now, for me, I've mentioned this before, my main concern is the radio broadcast because I'm a radio guy. He did it with his hockey team. It doesn't mean he's going to do it with the NBA team, but he could look to go with a TV simulcast over radio. I think that's a bad idea. But in his mind, he might look at it and say, why do I need two products to describe the same action? But we'll dive into more of that with Sean Heiken. We'll get his take on practice, how the guys are feeling. We'll see what he thinks about dealing with that Wembanyama issue, especially when he's on defense. Sean Heiken, Rose Garden Report, is going to join us next. Don't forget, tip-off Sunday, Game 1 against San Antonio at 6. Blazer Game Day with Chris Burkhardt at 4, and it's all right here in your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, Sean Hike and Rose Garden Report coming up in just a moment, but let's head down to Staten. Aaron is jacked up on the new owner. Aaron, what's up, my friend?
Hey, how are you?
Fabulous.
Wonderful. Hey, before I get into why I called, I wanted to tell you I really appreciate your show. Your takes are in-depth. They're awesome. You talk about a myriad of subjects. You talk about being a father to an autistic kid. And I just really appreciate it, man. You suck me in.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
As it relates to the discussion today about Tom, like taking a look at the books, this is why I called in yesterday and I was stoked about this matchup, because all across the organization, people have got to step up. And I think from a business perspective, he knows what he's doing. If you're not on point, you're not with the Blazers. You know, I feel like that is going to have a trickle-down effect. I feel like a leader, and what I'm hearing, and I'm not an insider, but what I'm hearing makes me feel good about being a fan of the team as a whole. You know what I mean?
No, I really do. And I can tell you, the one thing I know from people I've talked to, he is definitely engaged in all aspects of the operation. Yeah, 100%. And why not be, you know? I feel like we were just kind of in this pause under previous ownership. It was just kind of hooty-hoo, what's going to happen? Well, we'll do this, we'll do that. And there just was no real point to it. You know, if you're going to be on the team, if you're going to be in this organization, have a backbone. Let's get something done. And I just love the attitude. All right, I appreciate the phone call, Aaron. Thank you so much. You know, I give credit to Bert and Jody for setting things up the way that they did. And I've talked to Sean Hiken about this. But the idea of a trust when they take over control, it is kind of a holding. The idea of a trust when they take over control, it is kind of a holding pattern. They're trying to get things ready for the sale that they knew was coming. They're not so concerned as the future, but when you get a new owner in charge, he's focused on everything. And that's what's nice about right now is that they have direction. Not to mention a young roster that's finally healthy for the first time and getting ready for the first round of the NBA playoffs. And joining us right now from the Rose Garden Report, our Trailblazer insider here on Rip City Radio 620, Sean Hiken. And Sean, it's great to have you on the show, my friend. What's the overall vibe you got from the guys at practice?
They seem pretty locked in. They seem pretty focused. They seem pretty excited to actually get this thing started. You know, a lot of the guys that we've talked to so far at practice, you know, Tumani Kamara, Denny Avdia, Donovan Clingan, you know, these guys have never played in an NBA playoff game before or even a postseason game until the other night against Phoenix. And they're feeling like they, you know, because they've had to really scrap to get to where they got to towards the end of the season and really get things put together in more of a complete way than they had over the course of most of the season, that, you know, they're in a good position to, you know, once now that they're there, be able to actually maybe try to do something. Yeah, no question about it. The one thing I've been wondering, you know, Denny Avdia was so awesome in that game against Phoenix with 41 points and 12 assists, and he's so good at getting into the paint, getting at the rim, and getting fouled or scoring or the and one opportunities. And when the defense collapses, he knows how to find his teammates. I'm just wondering, with Victor Wembanyama hanging around the painted area and causing all sorts of problems with his ability to block shots, do you think the Blazers may look to go small, maybe more so often than you would think against San Antonio, much like we saw in the fourth quarter against Phoenix, to try and draw Wemby away from the basket? How do you think they're going to deal with that matchup when Wemby's on D? I think you have to look at everything. I think, you know, and that's one of the things I'm going to be interested, you know, to your point, you just brought up how great Denny was in that game. So much of what Denny does and so much of what makes him so effective is his ability to get to the rim. I'm very curious to see how that's going to go and how he's going to have to adjust his game and adjust how he plays with somebody like Wemby, you know, being the one protecting the paint. But I think you have to, I mean, and it's tough because the Blazers don't really have any track record of this is what we did against Wemby this year. You know, this is what's worked. This is what hasn't worked, because all three of the times they played the Spurs this season, Wemby has been out, so they're gonna have to completely start from scratch. But I think you just kind of have to try everything. You try, you know, the conventional putting Clingan on him. You try maybe going small with, you know, Tumani or Jeremy on him. you have to just kind of try whatever and mix and match and just see if you can come up with something to slow him down a little bit. It's not going to be easy.
We're talking to Sean Hyken, our Trailblazer insider from Rose Garden Report here on Rip City Radio 620. I thought it was pretty neat in that game against Phoenix. I thought Scoot had some quality minutes, and then I love what Shaden did where he made a couple of mistakes with turnovers down the stretch, but he bounced back to have the great dish to Grant for the corner three, and then I thought his defense on that final Suns possession before Denny scored the go-ahead bucket where he stayed in front of Booker, forced a bad shot. The Blazers got the rebound and won the game. I thought Shaden really came through after a couple of bad turnovers, which was nice.
Yeah, neither of those two guys, Scoot and Shaden, neither of them were perfect in that game, but I think both of them overall, I think, acquitted themselves very well in their first actual postseason minutes in the NBA. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the two of them, especially with how many good guards the Spurs have, and both what they're going to have to do on the defensive end to slow down, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and being defended by some of those guys also, especially Castle, who's a terrific defender. Who are they going to put him on? But it's going to be interesting to see how those guys respond in that type of environment. So it's going to be interesting. But I thought both of them did well in the Phoenix game.
How dangerous is San Antonio this year? I mean, I know that they won 62 games, which is amazing, but they have no playoff experience, and we've never seen a team with no experience just run through the playoffs and win a championship. Like, what do you think about San Antonio as they get ready for their run?
I think it's a really, really good team. And yes, I know that they have no playoff experience as a group, but I also feel like that some of that might go out the window when you have a player as good as Victor Wembanyama. It might not matter that your group isn't experienced as a whole and you have a player who's that good. And, we've seen what he can do. The thing that's kind of scary about them is we've seen how good they were this season when Wembanyama was not playing. It's not just, if you can take him out of the game, they have nobody else that can hurt you. They've got Fox, they've got Vassell, who's had a really nice year. They've got, they got a lot of shooting. They've got a lot of, they got a lot of good defenders. This is just a team that really, I don't really even, putting aside Wemby, I just don't think they really have a lot of weaknesses as a group. And yes, they are inexperienced, but so are these guys as a group. So I don't know if that's as much of an advantage as it might seem to be.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, San Antonio, 62 wins, second best record in the NBA, and, obviously a terrific basketball team. I would agree with the assessment. I know Doc Rivers said it. I heard Denny Avdia mention that they're dangerous. I think the Blazers are dangerous too because they're playing with house money, but also it's only going to be the second game all year where they've been 100% healthy. And you and I have wondered all year what this team might look like when they're healthy, and we're about to find out.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to be pretty encouraged by what you saw on that front with, in Phoenix, especially with, Jeremy Grant missed the last 7 games of the season with the calf injury. He hit obviously it was Denny that really won them that game down the stretch, but Jeremy hit a couple of pretty big 3-pointers in the fourth quarter that swung the game. And so getting him back is huge. And he's going to have a huge series too, because if they're able to take away Denny's driving, with Wemby being at the rim, if they're able to take that away, there's got to be other guys that can make shots. And so that's something Jeremy has been able to do, and that's something they're going to need Shaden to be able to do now that he's back in the lineup too. So yeah, I mean, it's a good time. It's good timing for them to get all their guys back because it's kind of all hands on deck to beat this team.
Sean, you've been covering this team for a long time. Like for this series, like when you look at the matchup, like what are you most interested in as we get ready for Game 1 on Sunday? What are you going to be watching?
I just want to see how you even try to, figure out how to deal with Wemby in a playoff series. Nobody's ever done, he's never been in the playoffs before, so we've never seen, I want to see how, okay, let's say he just destroys them in the first game. How do they readjust to it? Or let's say they slow him down in the first game and they're able to, limit his effectiveness. How does he adjust to that? I think just purely as a basketball fan, taking the Blazers part of it out of it. I'm really excited to see up close his first ever playoff series.
Do we expect his minutes to go up now that the postseason here? Is he going to play 38 minutes a night?
I don't know what the plan is for him. I know he's had some injuries recently, but considering it's the playoffs, you probably, need to have him available as much as he needs to be available. But for the Spurs, they're such a deep team that if they want to, limit his minutes, they can probably get away with doing that, especially in the first round, as maybe they need him for, later rounds if they're going to go that far.
So is it the same elements for Portland to have success? Offensive rebounding, limiting turnovers, and shooting a good percentage from three? Like, are those the three key categories for the Blazers?
Those are the things that when they've been successful this season, those are the things that they've been successful at. And so I don't see why that would be any different in this instance. It's going to be a little bit tougher to do that against this Spurs team than it is against some of the teams that they've played. But that is the key to success. Yeah.
What did it feel like in the arena with 7 minutes to go? The Suns had went on that 16-4 run. They're up by 11. I thought the game was over. Did it feel like it was over at that point? And if so, were you surprised that the Blazers torrid comeback down the stretch?
I thought it was over with about 7 minutes to go when they were up by 11. And then, they started making, I think the first time I really realized that, okay, they might actually do this was when Dylan Brooks, Denny got the and one and Dylan Brooks picked up his sixth foul. And Dylan Brooks had been so good for Phoenix, in that game that it's like, okay, he's out. So now it's like if they go to overtime, the Suns aren't going to have him. And so, at that point I was like, okay, they've got this. But it was definitely an interesting atmosphere because, the Blazers played really well in the first quarter was kind of a slog, but the Blazers played really well in the second and third quarters. And then as Phoenix opened the fourth quarter on an 8-0 run, and the crowd is really starting to get back into it, and they were getting really excited. And then as the Blazers started to come back, and as Denny started hitting those big shots, you kind of started to feel the air come out of the room a little bit. So it was definitely a pretty, and that Phoenix, like that's a great. You don't really always hear about like the Phoenix Suns fans, but like that's a great fan base. That's a really engaged fan base. So they were really, really fired up about thinking they were going to win this game. And so you just could feel the disappointment when they weren't, when the Suns weren't able to put it together.
Yeah, the atmosphere was terrific. What a finish it was for the Blazers. You and I have talked about this now for a few weeks about Tom Dundon, the new owner, and, we're obviously concerned about the radio side and whether or not he might do a TV simulcast like he did with his hockey team in Carolina. And now that Chris Mannix has touched on it, now Blazer fans are starting to take notice. What are you hearing in regard to Dundon and the way he's looking at the operation and the cost cutting?
Nothing good, I'll say that. Like I mean, to fans, you might think that something like the hotel checkout thing with that Chris Mannix wrote about, which by the way is absolutely true. Like that's something that everybody who's kind of been around the team the last little bit knows about. That stuff is not, made up or any kind of exaggerated thing, that you may think that stuff like that is just not, is not really that big of a deal. But, you saw what they, I'm sure you saw this too, but the idea that they aren't going to put out, they're not going to have shirts to give to fans at games 3 and 4, like to have shirts on the seats so that everybody wears the same color, which, you can land wherever you want to land on whether, that's actually something that's important or whether that's something that fans are even like interested in. But you're going to probably be the only team in the NBA in the playoffs that's not putting shirts on the seats. And I don't know how much money it costs to print up 20,000 of those shirts. It can't be that much money, but that's just another sign where, it's their first playoffs in 7 years at home and with a full crowd, and there's something pretty basic like that they're not doing. So I mean, it's just little stuff like this is going to add up, and we'll see what it all looks like next year whenever he's made whatever changes he's going to make in the off season. But some of the stuff so far, I certainly don't think is necessarily good.
So where does it become a big time problem? I would imagine that he'll continue to pour in the resources to take care of players.
Players, yes, but I mean, we're already kind of starting to see it with, stuff I reported and stuff others have reported about the head coaching position. The fact that he's trying to pay $1 to $1.5 million a year for the head coaching position, which is laughable. Like, yeah, that's like assistant coach money, like the second or third assistant on the bench these days. Like, if his whole thing is winning, then, wouldn't a coach also be a pretty important part of that too? I don't know. I mean, we got to obviously reserve judgment to see how it goes, but some of these early signs are, in my opinion, kind of alarming.
I would assume that if a coach is offered, let's say, below market value, $1.5 million per year to coach a team, wouldn't the Coaches Association come in and say you cannot accept that because we have to keep the numbers at a certain level? I would imagine the coaches have protection with their backing, right?
I mean, there's nothing that the Coaches Association can actually do to stop somebody from accepting an offer like that if they want to take the offer, but I'm sure it would be strongly discouraged for that exact reason. Like, you don't want to, especially if it's your first head coaching job, like some of these assistants that, are in the running for, have been, called by Tom Dundon. You don't want, if you're, have your first head coaching job, you don't want to come into it and be the guy that lowered the floor for what, these head coaching salaries are going to be, because then other teams are going to be like, well, hey, Portland's only paying this, why do we have to pay this? Like, that's, there's a little bit of kind of, solidarity, among the coaches, you would think. But I mean, we'll see how it all plays out. To me, especially given, that it's clear he's not really looking to, pay a ton of money for like a big name experienced coach. I don't see at this point how you justify not keeping Thiago in the job next year.
I agree.
That's just my opinion, but I don't like getting them to the playoffs, not just to the play-in, like to the actual playoffs as a 7 seed with everything that he's had to deal with, like the Chauncey stuff, the injuries, all of this stuff. I mean, I don't really like make the argument to me that replacing him with another assistant that has no head coaching experience who will take the job for slightly cheaper, like make the argument to me that that's a good idea.
Yeah, I can't. And I would imagine now, like Thiago Splitter, like he's basically exceeded expectations on every single metric that you could use to measure him by, hasn't he? It's amazing.
Yeah, and you clearly, you hear the way the guys talk about him. You hear, you watched the other night the way that, he was able to kind of call timeout and reset stuff, and the way he's had to kind of manage all these different. Clearly, whatever he's doing is still working for the players. Like, I think, if he had these results this year, with everything he had to deal with and having to take, be pushed into the job on the second day of the regular season, where he didn't go through training camp as the head coach, like going from day one saying, okay, this is the system we're going to play, this is what we're going to do. And he had to adjust on the fly. And this is what the result of that was. I think he's earned the right to, have the opportunity to say, hey, let's, give him a whole off season of, now we know he's the head coach. This is what he's going to put in. Maybe he can put in more stuff from the playbook because it's not going to be so chaotic if he has a whole off season. Like, this is obviously, these decisions are obviously above my pay grade, but if it were me making the decision, I think you'd be pretty hard pressed not to say that Thiago should be the head coach next year and beyond.
Yeah, no question. What's your gut tell you on the series? Is it going to be quick, or are the Blazers going to, extend this thing out and make life tough on San Antonio?
Spurs in 5 is kind of where I'm at right now. I think if they were the 8th seed and they were playing Oklahoma City, I would have definitely said they were getting swept. I don't think they would have even had a chance to win one game against the Thunder. But I think they will get one against the Spurs. There's an outside chance they could get 2, but I think Spurs in 5 is kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, what I want, I'm a very simple man, Sean. I just want to split in the first 2 games so that Game 3 will be a ridiculous atmosphere at Moda Center. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, I think it's going to be a ridiculous atmosphere no matter what, because it's their first full capacity home playoff game in 7 years. But yeah, if they go into San Antonio and come out of it 1-1, then I think that they're in pretty good shape to at least. And to what we were just talking about, if they are able to actually win a game on the road in their first 2 playoff games, that's another feather in the cap for Thiago as he makes the case that he should keep his job. But yeah, Spurs in 5 is kind of where I'm at overall in the series.
All right. Sean Highkin, rosegardenreport.com. You got to check him out. He does the best, buddy. I appreciate you, buddy. Enjoy your evening, and the playoffs now just right around the corner, buddy. I appreciate you, buddy. Enjoy your evening, and the playoffs now just right around the corner, buddy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. There you go. Sean Highkin checking in.
All right.
503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio. He's been very happy with the Blazers this year because they made him money. And when you make Brian Noe, he's been very happy with the Blazers this year because they made him money. And when you make Brian Noe money, he's going to find a place in his heart for you. All right, we'll keep things rolling here. Big thanks to Sean Highkin. And we'll hear more from Denny, Coach, and Donovan Klingen. 503-248-0620 if you want to jump on board. You got the Rip City Drive. I didn't know I needed Kenny G, but I absolutely love this song. And what is it Kenny G did? I think he invested a bunch of money in Starbucks and made a mega fortune. He's one of those guys I'd like to interview. I've heard he's like super cool. Now, speaking of someone that's not super cool, LeBron James, once again, just full of absolute nonsense. This is coming from Bleacher Report. This is, I know a lie when I see one. This report here is laughable because LeBron James is the poster child of the me generation. You know, look at me, look at me. I mean, that's what we're in right now. He is the poster child for it. According to Bleacher Report, LeBron James has directly told sources close to him that he doesn't want a retirement tour. According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, as James has yet to make a decision on his future, it remains a real possibility that he will retire at the conclusion of this season. Okay, let me just make this really clear. This is the same guy that's right now wearing a LeBron James patch on his team's jersey, which is an embarrassment. Can you imagine Larry Bird having a Larry Legend patch on the Celtics jerseys that he and his teammates have to wear? It's absolutely insane. This guy's all about LeBron. He always has been. He always will be. And I guarantee you there's no way he can walk away from the NBA without people washing his balls for another full season once he announces he's going to retire. I would bet my life on it. I bet my bottom dollar. I guarantee you he's going to get the retirement tour. And the more he says he doesn't want it, the more I know he really wants it. It's so pathetic. He is a pathetic individual. Great basketball player, but a complete fraud. So my hope is this, that LeBron, on his retirement tour that you know he's going to get, that the Trailblazers gift him a backgammon set just like they did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's all I care about. Give LeBron backgammon just like you did Kareem, and then you can ride off into the sunset. But the more he says he doesn't want one, the more I know he really wants it bad. That's the same thing as when an athlete says it's not about the money. Anytime an athlete says it's not about the money, you know it's all about the money. And if LeBron says he doesn't want a retirement tour, it's all about the retirement tour. He's just full of crap. He always plays this game at the end of the year. He is not shutting it down and just walking off quietly. That's not his style. And just go back to the decision with Jim Gray. That was all about him announcing that he was taking his talents elsewhere. So I would bet my bottom dollar. Just like I would bet my bottom dollar that Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel do not have a platonic relationship. I knew as soon as that report came out, and the more they said there was nothing to see here, you knew there was a lot to see there. Come on now. You're at a romantic couples resort in Sedona, an elite resort for couples, a romantic resort, but there's nothing to see there? Come on. I wasn't born yesterday, all right? I think we all know what's going on there. But LeBron saying he doesn't want a retirement tour as a joke. Come on, LeBron. The problem with LeBron is he just can't come out and just be honest. He's always got to play this little game, and it's nonsense. All right, there you go. LeBron James has directly told sources close to him that he does not want a retirement tour. Sure he doesn't. Sure he doesn't. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. But the Blazers did. Shacker played the audio. He found it one night. The Blazers handed Kareem a backgammon set. I just thought that was funny at the time because I'm like, dude, he did have like the most incredible shot in the history of the NBA. He might deserve something a little bit more than backgammon. And Kareem wasn't a me guy. He wasn't looking for the attention. But after 20-plus seasons in the NBA, 6 championships, come on, man. Backgammon? He must really love backgammon, I guess. I've never played that game. I've never played chess either. I don't know why. I played checkers with my papa when I was younger. Anywho, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. LeBron. It's too much. Too much, LeBron. Too much nonsense. Coach Splitter at practice talking about Wemby. Let's take a listen.
You know, he's a 7'5" guy that can handle the ball, shoot, guard the ring.
I mean, just listen to that. A 7'5" guy that can handle the rock. That's not normal. He is a 7'5" guy that can handle the rock like a guard. That's not normal. He should not be able to do that. That's why he's a unicorn.
So all those little things. I mean, it's not a secret. He's a very good player, and so all those little things. I mean, it's not a secret. He's a very good player, and we gotta be to start. And we didn't face him this season. The 3 games that we played him, he didn't play. So you know, I think it's good to watch some clips from other games and go through all the schemes.
Where's Jeff Gululi? We need a Gululi to step in and handle business. That's my plan for Wemby. Who cares about going small and drawing him away from the basket? Bring in Jeff Gululi to make sure that Wemby's not a factor. Don't worry, Denny, we got your back. I'm going to enlist the help of Jeff Gululi. Can you imagine Wemby lying on the ground? Why? That's so much bullcrap, too. LeBron does not want a retirement tour, according to sources close to him. I guarantee you, with everything I've got, he is going to get the retirement tour. And not only is he going to get one, he wants it badly. Brian O, Fox Sports Radio, talking ball with us at 520. All right, the Blazers getting ready to take on the Spurs. Game 1 will be Sunday night at 6, right here on Rip City Radio 620. Chris Burkhardt with Game Day at 4. And Denny says, look out, we're dangerous.
People didn't predict us beating the Suns as well. So, I mean, the predictions only the predictions. I feel like not a lot of people, especially around the league, know our capabilities and our talent very well. I think we're a dangerous team. I think we have the talent. Obviously, we come as an underdog, but we're going to go out there and compete. And we're not backing up, and we're not scared of anybody. So, I really believe in the guys, and I think we're better than what we've shown this season.
Your only place for local coverage in the postseason of your Blazers is right here on Rip City Radio 620. Checking the scoreboard right now. NBA playing game for the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. First quarter in Orlando, the Magic on top of the Hornets by a score of 27-10. Paolo Banchero with 9 points. Coming up at 7 on Prime Video, Warriors and Suns. The winner will face Oklahoma City. All right, Brian No, Fox Sports Radio is going to join us coming up in 20 minutes. Bino, going to talk some ball. Your telephone number, I'd love to hear your voice before we kick into the weekend and get ready for Game 1 on Sunday, 503-248-0620. Do you agree with Denny that the Blazers are a dangerous team? What do you think about the matchup with Wemby? And are you excited about seeing a home game on Friday night here at Moda Center with that place packed for the first time in 7 years? That's going to be pretty amazing. Now, the big story, a lot of stuff that's coming out the reporting-wise, following Chris Mannix about Tom Dundon, the new owner, really going through and trying to reduce cost, cut costs. The reporting that he has is true. And I know that because of people I know that work for the Blazers. So the whole report about staffers having to check out of their room early so that the Blazers don't have to pay an extra night for that room, that's all true. I had that confirmed by multiple people. And I don't have an issue with Tom Dundon coming in as the new owner and trying to get a handle on the costs and understanding why they do things the way that they do it. And I've talked to people who have been in meetings with him, and he's, by all accounts, very diligent in terms of going over the entire operation, wanting to get a handle on it, understand the business, why they do things the way that they do it. And it sounds like if there's any areas where he sees an excess or unnecessary spending, then, he's going to cut costs. And I said the biggest issue I have is the radio broadcast. Of course, I don't want a TV simulcast over radio because I'm a radio guy. I want the product to sound as good as possible. And I have friends that work for the organization. I don't want people to lose their jobs, people I truly care about. But, the one thing I know about Dundon, if you just look at his track record in Carolina, a very similar process, reduced spending, got a handle on the operation. He wants to understand why they spend what they spend. He's going to cut costs, anything he deems to be unnecessary. But look at the product on the floor. They've been one of the best teams in hockey in the NHL. And my guess would be that if he wins and the Blazers are successful on the court, the fans are going to be okay with, the way he wants to operate. And so I don't have an issue with it. You buy a team, you want to go over the business and try to help it run as efficiently as possible. I can understand that. I don't have an issue with it. It makes sense to me. Now, the whole T-shirt deal, I saw the report flying around that the Blazers are not going to offer free T-shirts, before the home games coming up here in the first round against the Spurs. I I really don't know what to say about that. All I can tell you is that I am a particular individual when it comes to clothes, T-shirts, and I don't like cheap T-shirts, so I have no use for them. So I couldn't care less. It's just a personal thing. If I'm going to buy a shirt, I want to buy something that's a little more quality so it can last me for an extended period of time. And I hate it when I get like a free T-shirt because it's not very good quality. You wear it once and then wash it, it's not good anymore. So I'm just not down. So that really doesn't bother me whatsoever. And I just don't care. My guess would be the majority of fans don't really care about whether or not there's a T-shirt on the back of their seat when they hit the arena or not. You know, you're more excited about the game and wanting to see the Blazers beat the Spurs instead of a cheap T-shirt. That'd be my guess. Could be wrong. But not only that, but I'm not down with wearing T-shirts that have a bunch of logos of different companies on it. But that's just me. That's just personal taste. 503-248-0620. Game one will tip off at 6. Right now, the Magic are pounding the Hornets into submission, 32-13. Let's go out to Westland. Paul wants to chime in. Paul, I appreciate you, buddy. What's on your mind?
Greatest sports radio show in Portland from 3 to 6.
Thank you.
Ever.
Thank you.
It's hard to believe that prior to Paul Allen purchasing Blazer One, I mean, these guys were flying commercial out of PDX, just like all of us. I think it's okay to ask players to check out before noon so you don't have to incur the cost of
well, he's not going to do it to the players.
You're not going to be using.
No, he's not doing it to the players. It's not the players that are being impacted. We're talking about staffers.
Well, okay, if it's everybody. I mean, these arenas now are so nice. They can go to the locker room and lay down there and take a nice shower in these brand new arenas. What I was actually calling about is I got an just email from Blazers saying that tickets are still available for Game 3. I just had to go down memory lane. I remember being in high school, because we're the same age. I spent the night at G.I. Joe's in their parking lot trying to get playoff tickets when I was like 15, 16 years old, because it was sold out and they only had a limited amount of tickets, and people would literally sleep out on the sidewalk at G.I. Joe's, which is no longer around, as you know. I'm just shocked that there's still tickets available.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be gone soon.
They will. Yeah, they're there, but they're disappearing. I'm looking at Ticketmaster right now. There are the blue dots that are scattered throughout the arena. There's still good seats available. There's still seats up in the 300 level. Some of them are very reasonably priced, but there are still tickets available. But there's less blue dots today than there was yesterday. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's good. I mean, it will be sold out because it's been a while since they've been in the playoffs. But this team kind of has that 1990 feel. You know, they're fun. They play hard. They're kind of coming out of nowhere. And just like in 1990, remember when they played the Spurs in that first round, and Rod Strickland had that ill-advised no-look pass he sent out of bounds at a lot of Duckworth to have that game winner in the Game 7. So let's hope that this series goes the same way, and the Blazers can move on to round 2.
All right, man, you got it. I can't wait. What are you most excited about with this series coming up? Is it how they're going to deal with Wemby? Is it just Denny Avdija? Like, what are you looking forward to the most, Paul?
Well, I'll be honest. You and I got into it a couple of years ago because I was very much against the Blazers drafting Wemby only because they were the Blazers. You had the cuckoo clock ding-dong going for me just because I don't think his body type will stand up to the physicality that is playing basketball. Clearly very talented, but I'm very curious how Klingon is going to beat him up down low because obviously he's very physical and weighs a lot more and is not afraid to get rough. And I'm curious how that will impact Wembanyama.
Well, first off, let me ask you a question about Wemby. Now that you've had a chance to see him play, do you think that maybe you were a little bit cuckoo in suggesting the Blazers should not draft him?
I think you misunderstood me. Clearly he's talented. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're saying if the Blazers would have drafted him, he would have hurt his knee.
100% because Bill Walton, Greg Oden, Sam Bowie, right? And I got the cuckoo clock.
No. I understand. I understand what you're saying now. You're saying, look, Wemby's the right draft pick for every other team outside of Portland, but if Portland drafts him because we're cursed, he will definitely have a knee issue.
That's the only reason why. Too much pressure on Portland to go with this 7-7 ultra thin postman with their history. Only Portland has that history. And I still have it recorded because my friends will remind me of, oh, Chad made you look like an idiot, had the cuckoo clock, and the Godfather was there too. But that's okay. I still enjoy you. We're still going to go golfing.
Yes.
All right, that's all I got.
No, but that's okay. You make fun of me because I like to play the munis. So and I like it when you do that because you give me a hard time about playing the munis. Which course do you play the most?
Well, for munis, I do like Stone Creek.
Yeah, Stone Creek is nice. You know what I like about Stone Creek?
Muni,
What's your favorite uni?
favorite muni? Bandon. That's a nice public course.
Yeah, but do you consider
Bandon,
but do you consider Bandon a muni though? It's a little bit above that, don't you think?
It's a very public course, Chad.
It's very public, but it's also very elite. I mean, it's expensive to go down there. Have you played Bandon?
Of course it is, yes.
Have you played it?
I don't want to say I have played, yes. You need to get there. I can't believe you haven't been there. I mean, they have 5 amazing courses. There's nothing like it. It's a perfect dude's retreat. It could be a tourist trap, and they could charge you $25 for a cheeseburger, yet they don't. It's a little bit better than East Moreland. That's all I'll say, because the ball doesn't plug.
I like that. Yeah, Stone Creek is nice because it's one of the best draining courses, so it's really good for winter play. I like that.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'll play wherever.
All right. Well, hey, before you go, I just want to set the record straight. Okay. So first off, I would like to personally retract the cuckoo clock that I dropped on you because now that you've explained yourself thoroughly, I understand where you're coming from. That if the Blazers would have drafted someone like Wemby, that he would most certainly have had a kneecap issue or arthritis in the knee or some type of leg issue, which would have prevented him from being great. And so I would like to drop it on myself. And that is for me.
Wow. This is incredible. You made my year. That's a lot. It really does. Because the shame I've carried with friends letting me know that I was made to look like an idiot over the airwaves of Portland for 3 years now. But, yeah, thank you for understanding that 29 out of 30 teams should have drafted Wemby, but Portland, because of their history, would have been cursed, and he wouldn't be playing. So thank you. That you made my year.
I'm here for you, Paul. And tell your friends that I have retracted the cuckoo that I dropped on you, and I am the cuckoo.
All right. I can't wait to tell them.
All right. You got it, buddy.
Go Blazers.
There you go. Go Blazers. Well, when he explains it like that, I guess I do have to eat a little. I understand where he's coming from. We are a cursed franchise when it comes to bigs. Although Donovan Klingon's looking pretty good. And I don't know how, but the Blazers, maybe they reversed the curse. They've gotten Robert Williams III in a position where he's been able to play all year and been productive. With the right minutes, the right combination of games, with no second of back-to-backs. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Fox Sports Radio's own Brian Bino. Fox Sports Radio is going to talk some ball next. We're going to just take on the NBA playoffs here on the Rip City Drive. All right, my brother from another mother. He is with Fox Sports Radio, and love talking ball with him. The one and only Brian O. Bino! What's up, my man?
What's going on, Chad? Doing? Always great to be on with you, buddy. And we got ball around the corner, the NFL draft. We got hoops right now. It's a beautiful thing. We just got to get it off of Amazon Prime Video, dude, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I thought that was a big miss by the NBA. I understand Adam Silver, he's looking for the dollars, but the fact that they are putting these games on Prime Video and eliminating local television broadcasts from the different markets to where you can't watch your own broadcasters in the first round of the playoffs, I think that's a big miss for the NBA.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, man. I don't know. I was just saying that I might not flip to another channel during a basketball game one time, but just having the ability to flip, puts me at ease. Like, it's unflippable when you're on Prime Video. I hate that. I'm fine with it on my tablet. I hate it on my TV. Not a fan whatsoever.
No, I'm with you on that. And then the other issue I have is that, playoff time, whether it's NFL or NHL or NBA, it's a time for your league to shine, to showcase, the great players and the great matchups. And when you make it difficult for people to find your games and you miss out on an opportunity to grow your fan base, I just think that's a big miss, because the NBA playoffs are what I got exposed to early on when I was little, Chad, and I loved it, man. I was hooked forever.
When you were little Chad, I love that. Yeah, dude, it's like, imagine little Chad trying to get the game on. Where it's like, all right, what's the password again? I don't even know what letters are yet. What am I doing here? There's no chance you wouldn't have been able to watch back then unless someone got it on for you.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Here's a question I got for you before we get to the NBA. Who do you think hired the private eye to take the pictures of Rossini and Vrabel at that couples resort in Sedona? Do you think it was one of the spouses, or do you think it was a NFL team?
Oh, wow. That's interesting, huh? How about if it's like the Aqua and Orange, my Finns? They're like, let's take the Patriots down somehow, some way.
No, but I'm being serious, because if you think about this, maybe, obviously jealousy exists in the NFL. They may have, there might be a team. Maybe it was the Dolphins. Maybe it was the Colts, somebody else who just got tired of the pro Mike Vrabel reports that were coming out for Rossini, and they thought, let's drop a grenade on that just because we want to shut her up. I just think that would be fascinating if that was the case.
Wow, it would be. That would, man, if that leaked out, you got a true bombshell at that point. Oh. But my money, if I had to guess, I would put the betting favorite to be Rossini's guy. That's who I think. If anybody were to have done it, I think it would have been that guy, because it seems like a guy move to me. Or you hire a private eye and you go back to the comments that she had made over the years that surfaced afterward, right? Imagine being that guy, being the husband, being the partner. Lord only knows. That's the tip of the iceberg to me. She's saying those things publicly, Chad. What is she saying privately when they have a disagreement? Lord only knows. And he had to have suspected things. Maybe he had suspected things for a long time, and that would be who I would guess. It'd be Rossini's husband. If anyone were to do it, I think it was going to be that guy.
Well, you're certain about, one thing. I'm with you. When all of those different comments started popping up online of things she has said about her husband over the years, no guy that I know would be cool with their wife saying about that stuff about them publicly. No one.
Yeah, no one. No, yeah, it's amazing they stayed together, even in spite of that. Look, man, I'm all for trying to stick it out and making it work and all of that, but there are lines you just don't cross, and if you've got respect for yourself, there's no way you would put up with something like that. Publicly, that's just you're completely undermining everything about us, our relationship, me. That's so uncool. There's no way I could go on trusting someone. They don't even have your back at that point. That's messed up.
Now, if it were an NFL team, which team would be the most likely to try and throw Vrabel and Rossini under the bus? Would it be the Jets? Would it be the Dolphins? Would it be the Colts? Or possibly the Bills? Which team hates the Patriots more than any other team?
Well, that's a tough question, because who hates them the most to me can still be separate of like who's most likely to do this.
Oh, okay.
I don't think any NFL team would do it personally. But who hates them the most? Like, there's no love lost with the Jets, man. The Jets absolutely despise the Patriots, divisional rivals, the little brother complex. Like, the Jets, they would cut off body parts to have the success that the Patriots have had. So, and you go back to the Spygate thing, like the bad blood runs deep there. So, you talk about teams that absolutely despise each other or franchises, the Jets would be up there for sure.
Hey, do you have an issue with Fernando Mendoza not being at the draft and wanting to be with his family?
No, zero issue with it whatsoever. The way I've always looked at it, Chad, is that's your day. You've earned that. You've earned that moment. You've worked all those years, right? Like, I guess the counter argument would be, hey, it'd be cool if you thought about the league, and okay, but that's their day. If Joe Thomas wants to fish with his dad, fine. If like the last top pick that wasn't there that was a quarterback was Trevor Lawrence. I don't even remember that, Chad. I don't remember that whatsoever, right? So the people that think it's a big deal or push back, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I don't think it's going to add like crazy pizzazz to the draft if Mendoza was there in person in Pittsburgh. So if he wants to be in Miami with his family, all the power to him, man. He's earned that right.
There are some insiders that think it's going to be an active draft day with trades. What is your thought on the first round? Like, when you look at the first round of the draft, what are you most interested in? Like, what Kansas City's going to do with the great pick, or the Raiders settling in to take Mendoza? Like, what are you going to be watching closely?
Well, my Notre Dame ties. I'm very interested where Jeremiah Love goes.
He's so good.
It's
Brian,
beyond
he's
the Notre
awesome.
Dame thing. He's such a great player, Chad. You know this, where
I love
he's
him.
a phenomenal running back, but he's a great weapon as a receiver also. You can line him up in the slot. You can do a lot of damage with him. But a team like the Titans, I see a lot of mock draft with the Titans taking him. And I get why, but I just don't think they're in a position to maximize his talent. I don't think he would be as productive there as he could be many other places around, the top 10, in that same vicinity as fourth overall. I think it'd be a lot like when Saquon got drafted by the Giants. They just weren't capable of maximizing what he brought to the table. So I'm hoping Jeremiah Love does not go to the Titans. Their offensive line sucks right now. They have a long road ahead of them to get a good offensive line in front of him. I think it would be comparable to Ashton Genty going to the Raiders last season. They're nowhere close to maximizing what he brought to the table. So I'm really curious where Jeremiah Love ends up, and I really hope it's a good spot for him.
Well, it's going to be, they probably won't do it, but the Chiefs are going to be tempted, severely tempted to take Love. But they shouldn't, but they'll be tempted to.
I don't think he'll still be there when the Chiefs are picking. But that's the intrigue to me, though, Chad, is it's a running back, so it's like a seesaw type thing. On one side, it's like, this dude is a freaking stud, and he's more than just a running back with his receiving ability. But then the other side is like, yeah, but he's still a running back, and you need a pass rusher. You need a tackle to protect your quarterback. You have other areas of need that are much greater than filling the running back position. So I want to see how that plays out, and if he does go top 5 or if he slides a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's weird as a Bronco fan because for years they've been looking for the quarterback. They've had a lot of needs, and now all of a sudden they don't have a lot of needs. So it's kind of nice when you're a team that can sit there and really have your choice of what you want to do there. What's going to be interesting to me, too, is, some of these teams that are, like Buffalo, teams that are close to getting over the hump and winning a championship, like how do they handle their resources to be able to get them over the top? Because for those teams that are paying their quarterbacks big money, what they do in the draft is critical.
Yeah, it's so critical. And Josh Allen is fantastic, but my gosh, you got to get him some help. He doesn't have a whole lot around him, not a ton of talent around him.
Yeah.
And that defense was so bad last season.
Horrible.
So it's not just weapons in the offensive game. It shows how desperate they were to give up a second-round pick for DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a good player, but a second-round pick at this stage, he's drafted in 18, Chad. Like, that's crazy. It just shows how desperate they are. And they got a lot of free agents that are still just hanging out there that put in valuable time on defense last season. And so I'm really curious how they stockpile that. With Josh Allen, you've always got a shot, but that roster needs a lot of work, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been dying to ask you this because you'll know as well as anyone. My Broncos made a trade and got Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. What are the Broncos getting in Waddle?
Well, I love Waddle. Waddle he's a really smooth route runner, and he's fun to watch once he makes a catch. He can make a lot happen. I wouldn't put him on the same level as CD Lamb. You know, CD Lamb is really, really good running after the catch. A guy like Luther Burden with the Bears, I think he's going to have a breakout season. That guy is dynamic once he catches the ball. Waddle isn't quite on that level, but he's really good. He's really good with the ball in his hands. So he's quick. He's a shifty guy. He can get open like that. That's a prerequisite as a wide receiver. So he can get open. And I think in that offense too, that offense just lends itself to they don't have dynamic guys. Cortland Sutton is a really good receiver, but I wouldn't say, Chad, they just have dynamic wide receiver talent, but they've got a lot of open guys consistently in that offense. So you plug and play Jalen Waddle in that, I think it's going to work out pretty well.
All right. I saw this report come across from Bleacher Report, and I'm calling absolute BS on it. It says, according to sources close to him, LeBron James says that he does not want a retirement tour, and this may be his final season. I would be willing to go. I'll bet my life on the fact that not only does he want a retirement tour, but he's definitely going to get one. There's no way he can walk away from the game without the retirement tour, Brian. Come on. Who are we kidding here?
I love how you've been abstaining from betting like a good recovered, betting Chad that you are.
Yeah.
And then you went straight to, you know what? I'd be willing to bet. I'm thinking like, all right, what, like a dime, maybe a couple of dimes? No, I'm willing to bet my life. You went to the extreme right there. I love that, but I'm with you. There's no way that LeBron just says, yeah, that's a wrap. I'm done. Gentleman's sweep against the Rockets. I'm good. So it was fun while it lasted. I'll be no way, right? Like he's definitely coming back for at least one more season in a retirement tour.
Of course, yeah. And you just look at his track record. I mean, the guy right now is wearing his own patch on his jersey, which is insane. I mean, it's totally crazy because no one does that. But everything about his career would just suggest that he wants the attention. So I'm just saying that I don't buy it. I think it's all bullcrap.
No. Yeah, it totally is. What's the own patch? What's he wearing right now?
It's like a patch on his jersey, and it's like that deal where he does the deal with the powder before the game, and then he throws it up in the air. Well, the patch is like him with his hands up, like he had just thrown the powder up in the air.
I didn't realize that. So it's where is it at on the jersey?
It's like on the on that little strap on the shoulder.
No kidding. Wow. All right. So just like a little bit above, I forget who they're sponsored by. I totally forget what's on the jersey.
Probably crypto, right? I'm not sure.
Orlando has Disney. I can't remember. It's like Bibigo, or I forget how you.
Yeah, Bibigo.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's Bibigo or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like online shopping or something. I don't know.
I'm looking at it right now.
Above that, huh?
I'm looking at it right now. So it's got the it's Bibigo. So he's got you got the Nike swoosh. You got the Lakers, you got the 23 in the on the left side. So his left, it would be Bibigo, Bibigo, and then on the other side, it's got the LeBron patch with his hands up in the air, like he just threw up the dust, and it says Legacy.
Wow! Oh my Lord! Yeah, no, that guy's just gonna retire after this first round series.
I mean, dude, you know how crazy that is? Like, I was trying to imagine, like, can you imagine, like, Bird in, like, his final year with the Celtics, like, having a patch that said, like, Larry Legend on it? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it's the 3-point contest where he took the last shot and had his
finger up
number one finger in the air. It's a logo right above it. Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, no, not happening.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't buy. You got the patch. There's no way you could be doing that. Or who else? Like Joe Montana having a patch that says like Joe Cool. Like that's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, listen, even Jordan. I don't see Jordan doing that at all. I don't see. Yeah, whatever. If it was like before I guess the Jumpman logo was a thing back then, but to put that on his jersey, no, I don't see him doing that.
No, it's not a good look. He would not do it. All right, so the Blazers, they've been very good to you this year, but it's not easy, right? The Blazers make everything difficult. And how wild was that game against Phoenix? Because they got up to a choppy start, then they went on that massive run in the second quarter. They're up by double digits, and then the Suns went on that huge run. They're up by 11. I thought the game was over. And then they come all the way back, and Denny went crazy. What a wild game that was.
An absolutely insane game. I bet Denny in game to go over. It was like, gosh, I don't know, 35 and a half
Oh,
points.
you did? Nice.
Yeah, so that worked out well. And the funny thing was, Chad, you would love this. So I had a couple of bets. I do love betting team totals. And I don't know what time I bet the Blazers over their team total in the first half, and that got there. And then I did it around that same time for the game. And so I had one bet on one sports book for 114.5, and I had another bet over 113.5. And so you fast forward to the end of the game. Well, dude, the third quarter, they couldn't score to save their lives, right? Like, it was just turnover city, dumb decisions. It's like, oh, my gosh, the Blazers are killing me right now. This bet is dead. There's no chance to score 30-some points in the fourth quarter alone. That's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, when they're down 100-89, they're like, you know what? Let's just go ballistic. Let's just start making shots and playing great basketball, not turning it over ever again this game. And they just started scoring like crazy. And then the end of the game, they're at 112. They're up by 2. They have 112 points. I need them to get to 115 to cash both or 114 to cash one. And so what happens, I'm hoping for overtime, really. I'm hoping the Suns tie it up, go to overtime. I'm going to win both.
Yeah.
And so Jalen Green, he pulls from 3. I'm like, oh, no, that's not what we need at all here. And it's a long rebound that the Blazers don't get, Chad. And I'm like, there's 5 seconds left. We're dead. And all of a sudden it's a strip, they force the steal. They get the turnover. And Jeremy Grant dunks it at the end to get to 114. So I won one of those. So it was a winning night. It's good. The Blazers, man. They're not great for your blood pressure, but they've been good for my bank account. They've been fine this season. They've done really well by me.
And do you know what's funny about that steal by Thibault when he threw it ahead to Grant? Grant looked like he might just do one of those U-turns and like dribble out the clock, but he decided to throw it down. It was weird. He didn't like go straight to the basket. He thought about it for a moment.
It was funny what everybody did because I think Thibault got the ball and paused for a second, like expecting to get fouled. And he throws it to Drew, and Drew pauses like, all right, they're probably going to foul me. And he's like, but I could just throw it to Jeremy. And you're right. Jeremy was just like, what do I do? Should I just like run around for a little bit? And I'm like, score, dude. No, score. He's like, how about I help Noah out real fast? And he went and dunked it. That was beautiful. That was crazy, man.
But here's what's crazy about that total. So you mentioned that. The Blazers, they scored 18 points in the third. And if you remember, they only had 4 points in the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yes.
22 points over a 17-minute stretch. So they scored 27 points in 7 minutes and 13 seconds. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Just break that down, Chad. Like they scored 4 points in 5 minutes.
Yes.
And then 27 points in 7 minutes. It's like, yeah, the Blazers. Somehow it makes sense, man. Like that's just how they get down at times.
Well, what I'm wondering is with this playoff series, like, the Spurs are heavily favored, and rightfully so. They won 62 games, but, the Blazers now fully healthy for the first time all season. Don't you think there's a bit of an advantage for Portland, at least playing a team with no playoff experience compared to Oklahoma City?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I just can't buy the Spurs to win a championship, Chad. We're on the same page on this one. We talked.
It's never happened in our lifetime.
Ago.
Yeah, it's never happened.
Yeah. You brought up a great point. I'll give you credit because you brought up Michael Jordan. Think about that. The GOAT. How many playoff struggles did he go through before he finally won a championship?
A ton.
They lost to the Pistons 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had a lot of talent back then as well. So I absolutely appreciate the Spurs talent. The alien is a freak. He is sensational. Stephon Castle is a really good player.
Yes.
They're a deep team.
Yes.
But, dude, they've got Harrison Barnes and Luke Cornett. That's their playoff experience right there. That's pretty much all they're bringing to the table. You can't tell me, Chad, that doesn't matter. If they survive against the Blazers in the next round, let's say they're playing the Nuggets, if that's the case, you're telling me like it's game 5, series is tied 2-2, you got to have a bucket in the final minute or you're going to lose this game. Like, it doesn't matter that they don't have playoff experience. I think it does. I just don't see them winning a title this season at all.
Yeah, and it's no disrespect to the Spurs, but the reason why it's important to have experience is because you know this. We saw it in the game against Portland and Phoenix. Playoff games are a different level of intensity. The officiating is totally different. The pace is different. Possessions mean more. And the amount of scouting and preparation that teams dive into before a playoff series is completely different than the regular season. It's really not even the same game.
Yeah, it really isn't. And I think the two things I'm looking at with Wemby is his minutes are going to increase as the playoffs go along. And I want to see if that's, it sounds weird, but I want to see if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Spurs.
Exactly. How's he going to hold up?
Right? Yeah, he's going to hold up. He's been sensational playing limited minutes, like ho-hum minutes, we'll call them, right? He's not playing huge minutes at all.
Yeah.
So if he is playing huge minutes in the playoffs, is he fatigued like crazy? What game was it not that long ago? He didn't play big minutes, and he was like, oh, my gosh, that's the most energy I ever expended. And you're like, Wemby, they played like 28 minutes, dude. Like, how's he going to get down in the playoffs? And the other thing is, while we're talking about Jordan, you think about the Pistons and the Jordan rules, and a big part of that, I know it's a different era, but they beat the hell out of Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And I want to see if teams do that with Wemby. Not dirty. Like, within the rules, you're going to take a couple of fouls, but you are going to more than jostle him. You are actively beating him up. You are physical with him. You've got to do that with the guy. I'm not saying he can't respond to it, but you got to see if he's up for that in the playoffs, man. You got to have playoff physicality against Wemby all game long.
I agree. That's why I've learned to really respect Jokic, because I wondered the same thing about him, and he's proven over the course of time that as teams have gotten more physical with him, he's got the ability to bang and play with physicality and score in different ways, and that's why I've learned to really respect his game.
I love Jokic so much. He's a phenomenal player. I wonder about the Nuggets defense collectively. If Aaron Gordon goes down, it's a freaking wrap. He is holding that defense together with duct tape. He's brilliant, but collectively they are not good. But man, Jokic, I tell you, the way I explain Jokic, Chad, is I think he's like a counterpuncher, like a boxer.
Yeah.
Where he always makes you wrong. It's like as slow as he plays and as much as you can't speed him up, he's a great counterpuncher because his mind is so fast. If the defense moves in on him to take a shot away, he'll just dish it. If someone sags off, he's like, okay, you're going to give me this 15-footer? That's a bad move. Swish, he's going to make you wrong every time. He does a brilliant job of that. And I don't think his mind, how fast it is, ever gets enough credit.
Yeah, that's a great point. You got any NBA bets maybe tonight with the Warriors and Suns, or tomorrow with the 4 games that are being played? What you got going on?
I have a bet for I just don't get this total in the Rockets-Lakers game, man. Game 1, it's around 206.5, 207.5. It can go over by mistake. Yeah. I know we're talking about the playoffs here, but the Rockets' offense has been really good, and their defense isn't very good at all. And the Lakers, their defense sucks, man. I think that there are going to be enough points for that game 1 to go over. So the nightcap, I'm looking at that. And then maybe a little bit of in-game stuff tonight with the Suns and Warriors. We'll see how that starts. The one great angle last game that the Warriors played was under on Kawhi. They were just adamant, this guy is not going to beat us. It's going to have to be the others beating us. Do they do the same thing with Devin Booker tonight? Do they play that kind of junk defense and double him a ton? But if they do that, it might make sense to get in on an in-game under on Devin Booker. It's something to keep in mind.
Oh, great. All right, man. Bino, Fox Sports Radio. Brian, you're the man. I love talking ball with you. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the ball. And I'm just happy the Blazers have been good to your bank account. That makes me happy. Bad for your heart, good for your bank.
They've been fantastic, man. They've been great. I'll tell you what, Chad. You think about the great ways to win a bet. Benny Avdia just going Torito at the rim, forcing contact, finishing. Oh, it's beautiful cashing bets like that. It's a lovely thing, man.
All right, man. Denny's a big fan of Bino. I love it.
Absolutely, bud. You have a good weekend, man. Always good hanging with you, Chad.
Love it, man. There's Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio. We'll keep things rolling. You got the Rip City Drive. Right now, the Magic crushing the Hornets 55-29, first half in Orlando. All right, you're going to get some bonus Rip City Drive tonight. Coming up here at 6, Seth Hoyland will join me as he gets ready for the Hops tonight. Let's go out and bring up Raider Mike, who wants to chime in. Raider Mike, welcome to the Rip City Drive, my friend.
What is up, friend? Man, just comment on a few things. I know you're against the clock. First off, LeBron, what's with this patch? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead
That's
serious.
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got a patch on the jersey. Of course it's ridiculous.
Look at that, man. Whoa.
It's a bad look.
I can't handle that. He's the second greatest ever, but just too much. I can't root for him ever.
Yeah,
especially in a Lake uniform.
Yeah.
So anyway, on to Rossini and Vrabel. I didn't. Your mind was working weird. You imagine the Jets sending that detective out there to take those pics. That's hilarious. But she's hot. Have you seen her in a bikini?
Well, I saw the pictures. Yeah, I mean, she's not. She's
no,
okay.
no. There's way better pictures. Just put in Google.
Oh, Google image.
She's in a bathing suit a lot. She's banging. So I don't blame Vrabel at all. So good job, Vrabel. Well done, brah. On to my Blazers. I mean, I heard you talking to Bino earlier. That's how we're going to win this. I think the only way we gotta bad boys them. We gotta Pistons them, like what the Blazers had to go through with the Pistons back in '90.
Got to get physical.
We got to beat them up. Yeah, and we got the guy who can do it, Klingon. He's just perfect for. It's only 3 inches shorter, so I think that'll work. I think that'll work out fine.
Yeah, I think physicality is definitely a good approach for sure.
On him, oh yeah, he's still a stick. He's still young, you know. And Clinton's a big boy. All right, my man, I will call you from Pittsburgh all week long. Give you updates on the draft.
All right, I appreciate you, man. There you go, Raider Mike.
All right, be good, bro.
You got it. When we come back, bonus Rip City Drive coverage. Seth Hoyland is going to join us. Tip off with the Blazers Spurs coming up Sunday at 6. Chris Burkhardt with Blazer Game Day at 4. All right, let's head out to Tri-City right now, and we're joined by Seth Hoyland of the Hillsboro Hops. They're getting ready to take on Tri-City. Seth, my friend, what's going on?
Hey, Chad, how are you?
Dude, it's so good to talk to you. How are things going early on this season for the Hops?
You know, on the field, not probably the record we want to start with, but a lot of young players, really, really young roster, as we've talked about before. That's kind of one of the beautiful things about minor league baseball. We're playing the Tri-City Dust Devils right now. They're the affiliate of the Angels. And, of course, the Angels kind of do things a little differently, so they got a really old roster. They got 25, 26, 27-year-olds up and down the roster. We got a bunch of, youngsters, 20, 21, 19 even, our top prospects. So, right now, just 2 games under 500, picked up a win in the second game of this series, won 4 of 6 in that opening series at the new ballpark. So not terrible, but just looking for some more consistent pitching really here in the early going.
What's been the response from the young guys on the new stadium?
Oh, man, everybody loves it. Even talking to some of the guys who, went to Power 5 Division I colleges, they've traveled all around in their career, whether it be in college or in their early pro career, and everybody just raving about the experience and the ballpark so far. And then for the guys who, come out of high school or come internationally, they've never seen anything like it before other than spring training. So to be able to play, every game this year at home in that, beautiful ballpark, it's pretty special.
I know it was chaos for you, but looking back on it now, like, how great was that opening night when you guys opened up the ballpark for the first time? You got to see fans enter into the stadium and take their seats.
Yeah, it was amazing. Looking back on it, the things that went wrong on our end, I think, were things that nobody else would notice, so, or at least hopefully not notice. But no, looking back on it, I mean, everybody just had a great time. Seeing the long lines out, people ready to get into the ballpark and check things out was really special. Obviously, having all of the local media outlets and personalities out at the ballpark was really cool. Unfortunately, your voice wasn't there, but Chris did a great job filling in, and thanks for being there.
I can't believe the timing of my voice going away was so bad, but I appreciate all your assistance and being out there. It was great. And the other good thing about having a venue like Hillsboro Hops Ballpark is we knew that it was going to bring in other events like concerts, and we got the announcement a couple of days ago that coming up in September, Chicago is going to play live in concert at Hops Ballpark, which is awesome. That's great.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Obviously, hoping some more to follow. But getting that out there was huge. Ticket sales go on sale next week. There's a couple pre-sales up until then. If you check out our website, we have all the links and information there. But that's going to be an incredible opportunity to kind of draw a different crowd out to the ballpark, get people out there. We're going to have 4,000 plus, I think, seats on the field as well.
Oh,
so the capacity really going to go up. Yeah, going to go up for concerts and shows, and really looking forward to that. September 25th is the date for that.
That's perfect. Chicago in concert. Tickets go on sale next week. They're going to be out there at Hops Ballpark, which is going to be perfect, and I can't wait to see that. We're talking with Seth Hoyland of the Hops as they get ready to take on the Tri-City Dust Devils coming up here in a few minutes on Rip City Radio 620. Well, you're also familiar with the Portland Trailblazers. What'd you make of that game against the Suns? Denny Avdi going wild with 41 points and 12 assists, and now they're going to kick off the playoffs coming up on Sunday in San Antonio.
Yeah, that was amazing. Our game finished early here on Tuesday night, so was able to listen to Travis walking back to the hotel and finishing off that game. What an incredible ending to that one. Obviously, Denny putting the team on his back there, but I think it's really exciting to see everybody finally healthy at once. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I remember looking at the Blazers roster and thinking, if these guys are healthy, this is a pretty deep team, and I think we're finally seeing that. Obviously, San Antonio going to be a tough test, but I think the guard play that the Blazers have, obviously, you have to match up with Wemby, but looking at Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell, some of the other pieces, I think Tumani and Drew, could be able to not hold them in check, but do enough to make the games competitive. I don't know about a series win, but I definitely think the Blazers can win a couple games in that series.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they can definitely keep it competitive. The other thing I saw, too, that's pretty cool, you guys have your first firework game at the new park coming up next week, too.
Yeah, initially we were just going to have the firework games on the 3rd and 4th of July. We have a couple big firework shows planned. Those are definitely still planned. We kind of went the drone show route, so I don't know if you've ever caught one of the drone shows, but they're incredible. So we have a couple of the drone shows as well, but yeah, we're going to do a fireworks show on Friday, so first opportunity to see fireworks at the new ballpark. It'll be a little bit of a different setup for us on the back end, and that's one of the things we've been navigating, but going to be able to pull it off for next week. We host Eugene Tuesday through Sunday, so always fun when the Emeralds come to town, and looking forward to that next week.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you sound to me like you're getting really comfortable doing baseball play-by-play, and I had one of my guys who I trust that reached out to me who is a big radio guy, and he's been really impressed with the job that you're doing. And I'm just wondering, like, how calling baseball games is really hard because of all the downtime and the different things you've got to do to tell stories and fill time. Like, how long did it take you before you felt comfortable calling Hops games?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first started here, so I started here in 2022. This is my 5th season here, obviously calling games with Matt and Rich, and that's something that Rich does very, very well. Those of you who listen to Rich Burke, he's actually on the Beavers broadcast right now, so you could probably tune in and see what I'm talking about. But, he's been around the game for so long, has so much experience that he has a lot of really, really fascinating stories that he's able to work into the broadcast. Obviously, me being on the younger end and just kind of starting my career, that's something that I've definitely I wouldn't say struggled with, but have tried to work on. Obviously, wanting to call the baseball game and making it something that people want to tune in and want to listen to, whether it be adding stats that maybe you don't see in the box score, obviously adding things that make the listener engage with the game, but also, telling stories. And I think that, when you look at a baseball game compared to maybe a football game or a basketball game, the flow is just completely different. In my career, I've probably called the most basketball games of any sport.
Yeah.
I do the broadcasting over at George Fox University, so I do men's and women's basketball there. I do football, and then baseball as well. But you mentioned it. I mean, baseball is much slower. Obviously, with the pitch clock now, it does speed the game up. But, being able to find time to put stories in, and then, hey, if you get a quote out, what happens then? Or you have a 3-pitch inning, what happens then? And I'll tell you one thing last night. I don't know if any of you guys were listening, but unfortunately, one of our pitchers threw 21 consecutive balls in last night's game. And that is absolutely unheard of. I mean, these are professional baseball players, and it was something that, talking to even our coaching staff who played in the major leagues, has been around the game, they've never seen that in their life. So that's just a perfect example of one at bat, that's a 4-pitch walk, a 4-pitch walk, a 4-pitch walk, and just finding the flow, obviously, has been the biggest thing. But I think Rich is a master at getting stories and being able to fill time, and I think that's been the most challenging part, but definitely getting more comfortable with it. And as I get more familiar, with the team as the season starts, be able to find little stories and nuggets to add in that, add something to the broadcast.
Well, that's really cool. And what's nice is, like, it's different for, the guys you're dealing with the Hops, because I think it's awesome that you're getting guys at the very beginning of their career compared to guys who are in the majors who are established and have had, 4, 5, 6, 10 years of a career to look back upon it. But I would think that the stories that you get from some of these young guys to find out their pathway to get to where they're at and the grind that they're going through is very interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love the most about the minor league game, especially at the level we're at here in High A. Every player, no matter who you are, you're going to have to play in the minors at some point. Obviously, each organization, progresses guys at a different speed. But it's really fascinating. I know I've talked to you about this off air before, but just the difference in experiences. We have guys on our team who are 18 years old from the Dominican Republic. We have guys who are 22 years old who went to college for 4 years. We have guys who were drafted out of high school. So there's a very wide range of guys, and every one of them, will have the same opportunity. And that's the cool thing. You look at AA, you look at AAA. Our 3-hole batter last night, a guy by the name of Trent Youngblood, he was a Division III player out of a small Division III school in Kentucky. and he's performed. He comes out here. There's guys on the team who have a $5 million signing bonus, and he's batting higher in the order than them. So it's really cool to see because everybody has a different backstory, and then a lot of the international players, some of the stories that they have of growing up and maybe moving across the country to find better, a better baseball program or whatever it may be. The stories that some of these guys have are incredible. And then, that kind of goes with the facilities that we have too. I mean, we want guys to make it to the majors, make it up to the highest level, and look back at their time in Hillsborough, whether it be a home player or a visiting player, and think, that place was incredible. Like, look back at their minor league career and, hey, Hillsborough was my favorite stop. They did things right. They treated people the right way. And that's really kind of the foundation that we try to build.
Gosh, that's really awesome. We're talking with Seth Hoyland of the Hops. They're getting ready to take on the Dust Devils of Tri-City. That's coming up here in just a few minutes on Rip City Radio 620. Of all the young guys that are getting a chance to know right now on the team, like, what story is the most interesting to you?
There's a couple of them. So we actually just had one of our pitchers, Logan Mercado, get promoted to Double-A. He only pitched 2 games for us to begin the year. He was a 4-year guy actually at University of Oregon, was an undrafted player, and he actually grew up here in Pasco, Washington. He went to Tri-Cities Prep High School right down the street from here. He grew up coming to games here as a Dust Devils fan. He even remembers watching Tri-City play Hillsborough before and getting to come back here to his hometown. There's a really special moment after the game. He learned he was going to Double-A, and his family and friends were here, and he's down on the field that he came to as a kid and was told he's going to Double-A. He's got a real good chance of making it up to Triple-A this year, being an older pitcher. But that was a really cool story that's emerging here in the early season. And then you look at some of the guys, we have returning players. We had 13 of our 28 guys who had played in Hillsborough before, and then 15 of the 28 had not come here. So still trying to, learn and get to know some of the guys. And there definitely is a language barrier with some of the international players. It's really, really cool, though. The Diamondbacks provide English classes for a lot of these younger international players. So at the beginning of the season, some of them, it's their first time ever stateside. They've been in the Dominican Summer League or very briefly in the Arizona Complex League, and they get to come, and on Saturday mornings they do English classes and try to teach them not just English, but some of the, cultural norms and things like that. And I think that's really, really fascinating to see.
That's great. Well, Seth, love catching up with you, buddy. Enjoy your time in Tri-City, and hopefully you and I will get a chance to catch up here in the next couple of days.
Yes, sir. I'll see you around. Thank you.
You got it. There's Seth Hoyland, Hops. Big fan of him. What a great guy he is. All right, here's what we got. So you guys enjoy your evening. We got Hops baseball against Tri-City coming up next with Seth Hoyland. And then I will talk to you on Sunday. The Trailblazers and Spurs. Tip off at 6. Chris Burkhardt with Blazer Game Day at 4. Enjoy the playoff games tomorrow. And I can't wait until the Blazers kick off their series with the Spurs. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as I told you, I'm a simple man. Just get the split in San Antonio so it makes Friday night at Moda Center next Friday awesome. All right, big thanks to our guests today who joined the show. Bino, Fox Sports Radio, Sean Hyken, and Beefwater, KC Bay from 105.9 The Brew. Big thanks to Michael Shacker for joining me in the mess here in studio today. We'll talk to you on Sunday.